You are now entering a dangerous liberty zone where God-given natural rights are held sacred and exercised. This is your warning. Tyranny, fascism, and censorship will not be tolerated. Ideas will be exchanged freely. Rigorous debate and open discourse is encouraged. If you are weak and your beliefs are fragile, you should leave now. Prepare yourself. We are now live on the Dangerous Liberty Podcast. All right, folks, welcome to another, and it's going to be a really good episode of the Dangerous Liberty Podcast. Hope everybody out there is having a great night. Man, we got a great guest for you. I want to say hi to everybody over in the chat. We got a lot going on. Make sure you like, subscribe. That helps us out. We really do appreciate that. Share this content if there's people out there that wanting answers. I can't think of a better way to do that than what we're going to see tonight. I think we're going to get a better and more clear picture from somebody that is right there. Not only somebody that's right there on the scene, but given what he does, being a journalist, you know, he's somebody that's really paying attention. And I can't wait to hear his entire story. And it's going to be great out there. So a lot of stuff going on in the world. We're finding more and more. We're finding out more and more information. I think we're getting a more clear picture. That doesn't mean that there's a lot of gaps in what's going on and narratives and everything else. There's definitely more. Like every single day I find a new interesting conspiracy, which we can definitely get into and talk a little bit about, and even talk about the likelihood of some of these things, all the stuff that you guys like to do. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and bring on Adam Bartholomew, and I am excited to have him. Adam, thank you so much for taking the time and for being willing to come on here. And if you will, just take a moment and kind of introduce yourself to everybody about yourself, and then we'll talk about your story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, my name's Adam Bartholomew. Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to go over this and to talk about some of the things that happened that day, and maybe hopefully we can separate a little bit of the fact from the fiction.
Yeah, no. So, you know, obviously you were out there, you're a citizen journalist, which like, I think without someone like you out there, number one of the things I talked about, and I've obviously used some of your content in my videos, you had the clearest video, you had the clearest audio out there. So, you know, thank you for number one, for being brave, getting out there and doing what you do. But the other thing that I really appreciate is, you know, when everybody else was screaming and yelling, obviously, and rightfully so, and at possibly your own detriment, and very brave.
I was cursing. You can hear if you zoom. I did. Raise that audio. I was not in the best of. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry to cut you off.
No, I love the fact that you went down there right to the tent and was recording a lot of information. And one of the questions I'll be asking you is some of the things that maybe that we didn't see clearly on the video that obviously you would, but I'll just shut up now, and I want to hear your story. Tell us kind of how the day started and take it from there.
Sure thing. I was only there because I'd heard that there was going to be a counter protest, so I was kind of iffy about it was a work day for me, so I wasn't sure I was even going to attend. And then my son came to me and said, "Hey, will you take me to the will you check me out of school to go to this Charlie Kirk thing? He's a senior in high school." So I'm like, sure, let's do it. And my wife was also interested in it. And so she got some other moms together and they made a day of it. And we all went to the Charlie Kirk event, and I brought my camera. I film a lot of protests. I've been filming protests since 2020. And back when Brian Stelter was saying that there was no Antifa guy with a militant with a semi-automatic rifle guarding the barricades of the Chaz Chop Zone. So I went and filmed it myself with my own camera and put it out there to try and, counter that. And so that's what I was doing, was going out and interviewing the counter protesters. I like to kind of gently push back on these young guys that are out there. These young leftists that are out there saying that, I was just talking to these guys, just kind of gently pushing back on them. And a lot of times I feel like when I'm asking these guys to vocalize the things that they supposedly believe, the things that they have on their signs and on their pins and stuff. That I'm oftentimes the first person that's ever pushed back on them. That's not their parents, that they have some automatic animosity towards or something. So I think it's important to go out and talk to these protesters and figure out why they're there, because a lot of times it's common stuff where it's just outright lies and misinformation. You can gently kind of walk them through and have a discussion with them about XYZ thing. And these kids are no different than places in the past. They thought Charlie Kirk was this hateful bigot, person spreading hate, and they were there just to spread love. They just wanted to spread love, which is ironic.
Yeah. And to give everybody a little bit of perspective, like, you got started doing this. You lived in Washington. We were talking about this. I lived in Washington for several years, and so you were in Washington inside the Seattle area, and during all the BLM protests is kind of when you got started doing a little bit of citizen journalism and just kind of showing the world what was actually happening, as opposed to the narrative that was being created by the mainstream media, right?
Yeah, that's right. And not only that, kind of the thing like filming the Chaz Chop people, which I did a number of times, but also I had gotten involved with the local Republicans at the time, and I just in my effort to kind of put my energy towards something productive that's really going to make a difference, I discovered that the need was there for people to get out and film these debates and kind of see the ridiculous things that these candidates for office say on the other side, and also get our people out there so that the primary voters and whatever could make the right decisions in what they were doing. So we were trying to get the message out and trying to counter what the other side had, this really detailed structure apparatus of paid people to go out and film all of their and promote and put out social media content for all their candidates. So we were just trying to do that same kind of a thing on our side. And then the riots started in the summer and that kind of thing, and it kind of grew from there just to filming these people.
Yeah, and folks over the
chat, they want to tear down our society. They hate us.
Yeah.
They took over our events in Seattle. The Antifa people would show up at our events all the time. They'd come and they'd destroy things. They'd knock over tables. They'd knock over your microphone system. They come and spray water on your equipment. That's why I don't take my super nice camera out to these protests, because they'll spray water, sometimes jars of piss, on your equipment. So they'd come. My parents were in town one day for a campaign event that we were having with some other groups, and we were in the Green Lake Park, and these people literally just took over our entire event, pushed us off the stages, and knocked over our stuff. And that's my profile picture on Twitter, on X, is that from that event where these guys took over our event. We're just like screaming in our faces and squirting piss on my equipment and stuff. So like that's what they're constantly, these violent people that you're like, hey voter, this is who you're supporting, when you're voting for these people, constantly ruining your city. Like you're supposed to be the most progressive city. You're supposed to be all caring about the environment, but meanwhile, every single little triangle of green space, green belt along I-15 or I-5 and around Seattle, and even right underneath the Space Needle, there's homeless tents and garbage and needles. And I mean, how are you environmentalists? Tell me that. Explain that to me.
Well, and unfortunately, what we saw during that entire time, we had the mainstream media completely intentionally omitting all of those things that you're talking about. And real quick, I just want to get this out to the chat, just so you guys know how we're going to run this tonight. I'm going to let Adam talk. We're going to get into the events of that day, and he's going to share his experience. I'll ask him some questions. We'll kind of run it like a normal podcast, and then we are going to open up the floor to Q&A for everybody out there. We're going to read your comments. We're obviously going to prioritize the super chats, but we're going to try to get to as many questions as we possibly can until Adam just turns this off on us and hangs up and goes to bed.
Yeah, I got all night. We're good.
All right. So,
I hope we can provide some good information to people. It's not like, but anyway, go ahead. Not gonna
No,
blow
no,
up
no,
my
no.
Sorry.
And one thing I do want to say, guys, if you haven't done so already, go follow Adam on X. What other social media platforms do you have, Adam?
I'm on X, YouTube. I'm on Facebook, a couple of places, but mainly I'm on Twitter and YouTube. It's just at Life is Driving, all one word.
And I actually put the
like
link.
driving a car.
Yep, I got the link to his X down to his X account down in the description of this video. So go check that out. Go follow him. If you're not following us, follow us on X too. We really appreciate that. And what I will do after this post, I'll get with Adam and we'll get all his other social media links, and all your other social media links are Adam Bartholomew, like on YouTube and things like that.
On YouTube, it's at Life is Driving.
Okay.
The same thing is on Twitter. So
Perfect. Yeah, man, you guys go support him. He's out there.
I try to stream all the political debates. Anytime there's and it's funny, we during lockdown, my wife and I made the decision to move here. We're like, oh, we're going to go to safe haven to Utah, and it just, you get here and it's just all the same stuff that's coming into the schools and everything. It's all here.
Yeah. All right. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get into, tell us how that day started, share the information that you want to share with us. You're welcome to share. You can see down there, present, if you have any other visuals that you want to share with us or anything like that. But, how did that day start and what happened with that?
So, do you guys have the video there, or do you want me to I
can pull it up.
On my end?
Yep. If we go to, hey, Jamie, go over to X. And then it's on
Pull that shit up, Jamie.
That's right.
I always wanted to say that.
Full HD upload, so we can share this. You tell us where to
go. Yeah. And so the day started with my wife and kid down in the area, back of, way back from. She found a spot with the other moms to watch the event off to the side. She couldn't directly see, Charlie or what was going on, but they could hear, what was being said and that kind of thing. There was a PA system. My kid had left her position to go and ask Charlie a question. So he was waiting in line, I don't know, maybe 50 feet away, waiting at the end of the line pretty much to ask a question. So I had gone up on the balcony, where the, there was like this raised balcony thing that kind of surrounded the entire courtyard. You could kind of go almost 360. And so I went up there, got some visuals of just kind of how big the event was, and then worked my way over to the counter protesters that had been cordoned off in an area. They were above Charlie, but directly above Charlie had been taped off, so they couldn't go right above him and throw things down on their tent or anything. So they were off to the side, and they were out there with their signs and chanting, F Charlie Kirk, and then they would get a big counter, USA or we want Charlie kind of thing in response from the crowd. So that's what the kind of atmosphere was this kind of overwhelming presence of people there to support Charlie Kirk and to hear what people wanted to, what he wanted to say, and this small contingent of people that, if you pull the video up, you can see me kind of approach those guys and,
yep.
And then I'll start talking to a group, and
right there, that one right there.
Yeah, that's the one. Yep.
Just make that big
screen. For the scan. So, and I think I've got it here native if that works better for you too on my end, but
whatever works for you.
So yeah, here we are. So if you back up a little ways,
go right to the beginning.
So right to a little more, you'll see me walk up from the other side, and I'll get a visual of kind of how many people are in this protest. If you go back,
go back. Yep, keep going. About right there. Stop right there.
Let me make this bigger here.
Is it further ahead? You know how long?
Let's see here. Yeah, I'm just kind of walking towards them right now. There you go. Give it a second. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, you're fine. I mean, I don't think X is the best for video playback, but
Play the audio.
we're there.
Low. Yeah.
So, and I don't know if you wanted to see what I was working on at the time, but so I'm wearing my backpack, and then in the backpack I have this this setup with a hotspot, Ethernet switcher, and batteries. It has a micro four thirds lens.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, is that big?
Yeah, it's like a cube like this big, and it has a micro four thirds. So then the Ethernet cables come off of that thing I showed you, that webbing, and then come out of the side of the pack, and I'll have, on a tripod.
So the whole time that you were doing this, you're live streaming the whole time.
Correct. Yeah. So my tablet has internet, and then it looks like this. So my tablet's got its own internet. I've got a hotspot and then a phone, and I've got Speedify bonding them all together. This is the first time I've ever used it, was at this event. Mm-hmm. Because previously I'll have a great setup, everything's working, and then when there's thousands of people in the same area, my stream cuts out. So I've been working on that, and this is the first time I ever used Speedify, was to bond the stream. So the stream was actually remarkably clear for the time that it was up before it got taken down or shut down or whatever. I don't know why it got probably just bad cell service, because everybody was calling everybody all at the same time.
Right.
I think that's why it cut down. But so that's what I was using. That, and I use this iPad to control it on a separate thing. And I have the microphone you pointed out in your video, which is the Comica VM30 wireless mic, shotgun mic. So this is what I was interviewing those guys with that captured the gunshot audio right after that clip you were showing.
Now, what was the overall? What did you feel like the overall tone was there? I mean, did you feel like the protesters that were there? I mean, the guys that you talked to seemed to be pretty mild, at least the ones I saw. The free.
Yeah, they seem pretty mild. They're, I was expecting to find more of the kind of maybe wannabe Antifa types that I ran into at the No Kings protest, but yeah, there was mostly these kind of mild-mannered college students. And after talking to him, like right before the gunshot, the kid with the fuzzy curly hair, like him and I fist bumped, because we agreed on some point. I can't even remember what it was at the end. And so like they were pretty reasonable.
They were basically saying, hey, we're not against Israel, but we're not against either. That was kind of.
So it wasn't like too confrontational, which is funny because I got a lot of heat on YouTube comments and stuff, like how irresponsible it is to be out there. I went up there looking for an argument, and I'm like, these guys are out here saying F Charlie Kirk, and I don't have the right to go and ask them why they feel that way. Like,
yeah, no, I mean that you're doing what the problem is no one's used to what journalists are supposed to do anymore. Like they've forgotten the freaking job of journalism, because we don't have anybody that does it. They go out and they look for a certain narrative, and they present that narrative, and they omit any counter argument to that. And again, like folks, I've said it before. I said it last night, I think on the stream that we did last night. Like if you need to go to X or some other news source, like we got to get away. And I'm talking Fox News, any of these big network news companies, just get away from them. There's so many people out there that are doing legitimate, good journalism that are presenting objective information where you can figure out how you perceive what's going on, and you can make good decisions. And that's just something that we don't have here in America at scale anymore. And I think that's, the media's lost all credibility. So, you're out there, you're talking. Now, how long had you been at the event before you heard the shots go off?
Maybe it took me 10 minutes to walk in from the parking lot, 10 minutes to set up, maybe 5 minutes to set everything up. I don't know. I'd been there going on just under half an hour. I'd been streaming since 12:04 is when the stream started, according to recording since 12:04. So that's what my data shows. So, maybe 20 minutes in, I think is when the shot happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
20, it's like 23 minutes or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the one thing I want to talk about, I know I've talked about this in several videos, and I just want to get your perception of what was going on there. So, you're sitting there, you're standing, talking and interviewing the guys with, with the Free Palestine signs, and we hear a gun go off. And of course, when any time that we saw this in Butler, Pennsylvania, when, the shots went off at Trump, like there's this delayed reaction. And I don't think that, we have what's, called, normalcy bias, right? So it takes us a second to figure out, oh, what's going on? Well, we're under attack. And I don't think anybody realizes that. So you're standing there.
I definitely experienced that 100%. I mean, because my first reaction, you can hear me on the stream. I said, what was that? Was that fireworks? Because the shot sound ricocheted through, I could still get a sense of the direction where it had come from, but it still had ricocheted through. And so briefly, and I think my internal, my brain was like, fireworks would be a prank from the people here, that I'm talking to. That would make sense to me. Like a shooting that's not logical. That's not going to happen, So my brain was, instantly like, maybe it's something else.
Yeah. And, one of the things that's talked a lot about is, I think people have said, hey, it's not this gun. It's not this gun because of the sound. And this is something I'm very familiar with. We tape a lot of firearms content here, and it's crazy to me what, gunshots sound like on a cell phone. I thought your video, and I'm sure it's still compressed and there's still some leveling going on.
Let me check here and see, but we could probably pull up the native on here for you.
Yeah, that'd be great. So, besides what we're going to see in the video, though, I would like to hear what was your perception of that gunshot? Was it yeah, did it sound super loud? Did it not sound that loud? Were you able to tell which direction it came from? Like what
I was able to tell kind of generally what direction, like I knew it had come from far across. Like I knew that because it wasn't that different of a scenario from elk hunting with my brother. And it didn't take too long before, you kind of get an idea when you're in those ravines and valleys up in the mountains and there's other hunters and one of them will fire. You kind of get an idea of where it's at, even though you're down in a ravine somewhere and it's echoing around. You kind of develop a sense. And I think that everybody there instinctively knew where it had come from. So I don't think to anybody that was in that crowd really heard it with their own ears. I don't believe if we went and asked a lot of those people that they would have any different account than it came from over there. It came from over there. That's kind of and yeah, it did kind of like it wasn't at first because of the sound and the way it kind of cracked. That's why because of the crack sound really that ricocheted in the buildings. That's why my first thing was like hoping that it was something like a firecracker, because my wife and kid.
You mean like
I'm hoping.
You were talking when we say ricochet, you're talking about the sound actually just reverberating and echoing off the walls. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, just like in the moment, to me, like I wasn't 100% sure if it was one or multiple cracks, just because of the way the crack kind of echoed in the. If you look at the courtyard, it's this, all these buildings around it, so it's kind of a unique area, and you're depressed down on the ground,
Yeah, and you felt. Immediately, especially, I think you had a unique vantage point because, again, you were on that second floor. You're not down in that lower area where I do think if you're down in that lower area and you're surrounded by all these people, I do think there's probably a little audio exclusion taking place, or at least people down there where, we have sound equipment, we have people talking, you being up above all that, it would seem to me that you would have a little bit better perspective of what's going on, but you felt immediately that, generally speaking, where they say the shooter was, you felt like that's where the sound came from.
That's generally my takeaway was that's what it was.
Hold on
from the area that the official narrative says.
Throw up Jeff R's comment over there. A little bit higher. Throw that up there. All right, Jeff R. He says, this is why I'm questioning this channel. This guy literally said all the other opinions were idiots yesterday. I never said anything like that. Like, if you guys are going to come here and you're going to completely mischaracterize anything I said or anything my guest says, like, just stop. I've never said anything like that. I said some of the theories are absolutely ridiculous. When we're talking about palm guns and things like that, yeah, I think those are ridiculous. And I think it does muddy the water. I don't think anybody out there is an idiot. I do think that we get people out there that are a little bit, again, you know, they overindulge their imaginations and they start presenting things without any evidence whatsoever. So I don't think anybody out there, I don't even think the people that are saying that are idiots. I'm saying we're just not being very disciplined. But don't come here and completely mischaracterize what I do or what I say on this channel, because I'm just going to ban you. And that's the last time I'm ever going to warn you, Jeff. All right. Go ahead, Adam.
Okay. So I brought up my native file. If we want to pull that up, I don't know if this, how to make this show. Are we looking at mine? Oh, there it is. Cool. So can I control this here? Yes, I can. Yep. So here we go.
You're in charge.
Oh, and I'm so amazed at the people that parse through this and like find someone on the opposing roof, you know, like. Okay, here we go. So we're talking to these guys. For several minutes. So some guy's asking me about my setup. He's seeing this camera, and I was describing him the camera that I'm looking into right now that you guys can't see.
That's really tiny. Where's your windscreen?
Yeah, that's in my backpack. I gotta get it out.
So that's your monitor, and is this like your recorder? Is the SD in there or SD in here?
So, and one thing that was weird is it didn't record to my SD on. Usually my best footage comes from the SD card here, but it didn't record to the SD card for some reason. When I came home, I panicked for the first few minutes because I popped my SD out, put it in the thing, and there's nothing there. It's only the No Kings protest, you know.
That's always a fun feeling. I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing records to the system records to the iPad, to the camera, and streams all at the same time. So luckily, the iPad with the Ethernet connection was pretty. It seems to be equivalent to the SD card ones in the past, because this, like I said, this is the first time I'd used this kind of Ethernet hardwired mode to get rid of like latency problems and stuff. So let's see. Evo camera. So what's that? Okay. There you go. If you wanted to know about my setup, that guy asked. Okay, here's our dudes. What's up, bro? When was this?
He was asked, is this a baby?
Like,
and showed a picture of a dolphin fetus. He said, without a doubt.
Oh, he saw a dolphin fetus. Gotcha. We got it.
When do you think life begins?
Oh, I don't know. All I know is that I got Charlie Kirk. He saw a dolphin fetus. I don't know when life begins, though.
To make the choice.
Gotcha. What about you?
I agree with both of what they have said, and I think that believing that life starts at conception is, I mean, can you look at that and define that is a life? I feel like you could.
Sure thing, bro. Okay, we want to hear the shot, right? Talking to these guys for a bit. We talk about all their signs, his gay button right there, that's he's pointing to. See the guy at the tall kid?
Yeah.
Talk about that. I asked him if he'd go support gay rights in Palestine. He's like, oh, I know where you're going with that. Okay, here we go.
Free Palestine. There's a
Free Palestine. Yep. Okay. Oh, here we go. Let's go back.
Okay, right to live. And that's kind of back to like the love one another thing. It's like love everyone.
Love everyone, regardless of race, everything.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys coming out here.
We appreciate you. Love you.
Are you gonna go down and see get closer? Or are they like restricting you guys up here or what?
Nah, it's too crowded.
It's just there's just so much.
Before we had a flag and we had it, so it's positioned above the tent, so it would be in the camera. And they made us move.
What was that?
Oh my God! He just got shot! Holy shit! Holy shit!
I don't know if you saw that demon. I don't know. Maybe she just smiles with glee every time there's a gunfire that she has to run away from. But
what I thought was interesting was the automatic, just the way that guy right there in the green shirt, the way that he jumped. I thought that was I kind of kept playing that back and forth, and there, especially people that have probably been around gunfire before. I mean, it is pretty unique most of the time. But
now, if we look at their speech, I believe. Sorry to cut you off, but I believe we are delayed on audio. Let's watch
So
this a little
don't
bit.
condone Hamas either. We don't think that's all right.
Yeah, your audio.
We're not supporting terrorism.
Say that one more time real quick.
We also don't condone Hamas.
Yeah,
we think
so the audio's delayed on and that's been my. How am I right now? By the way, is my audio delayed? I don't know.
No, it's good.
I believe I solved the problem. I had a technical breakthrough on YouTube University, and I think I figured it out. So, but at this time it was delayed, and I was debating when I uploaded these raw video files to YouTube and Twitter. I was starting to tinker with it, like aligning it, and then I was going to watermark it, and then I thought, you know what, it's kind of like historical record and I just did for the sake of, I just uploaded it raw as it was. So, take it or leave it. But so that reaction of him jumping, I don't know if that's quite in sync, but we could watch that again.
genocide's wrong on both sides.
We're just saying that we're not advocating
Israel
for
is the one that's doing the most right now.
We're pro-Jewish people and pro-Palestinian
We
people.
just think people should live and people have a right to live.
And that's kind of back to like the love one another thing. It's like love everyone.
Love everyone, regardless of race, everything.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys coming out here.
We appreciate you. Love you
You're gonna
too.
go down and see get closer. Are they like restricting you guys up here or what?
Nah, it's too crowded.
It's just there's just so much.
Before we had a flag and we had it so it's positioned above the tent so it would be in the camera and they just move.
What was that?
God, he just got shot! Holy shit! Holy shit!
So as I was approaching that railing, I'm simultaneously I pulled my phone out, and as I was cursing there, I had called my wife, and then she didn't answer. So then I was immediately calling my son.
There's been a shooting. There's been a shooting. We heard shots. We heard shots. You guys okay? Okay, love you. Be safe. Okay, be safe.
I hung up on him, but
Apparently there's been a shooting. I don't know who's been shot.
She didn't answer.
We are here live at Utah Valley State University.
Somebody asked over in the comments, I want to make sure that people understand this. So, he was streaming this video. So as it's recording, there ended up being an audio delay. And what I found out, so it's not synced properly, right, guys? So when I was playing his footage, it ended up being 18 frames off. So we had to sync the audio back. And that's something that when you're streaming in the audio, sometimes it doesn't sync up properly. So that's why we're seeing a little bit of the audio and the video isn't quite perfectly synced up. And that's why, just so you guys understand that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that somebody will turn that into some sort of nefarious thing, but that's what it is, folks. So
Okay.
if you hear the gun go off, you call your kid, you make sure that he's okay.
Yeah.
You meet with him, he's okay. And now we're here. What was your perception? Right now, you did not know that it was Charlie Kirk who was shot, right?
No, I did not know at this point. I'd hung up on my kid. I'd called my wife again. She didn't answer. So then I had turned and I was talking into the to the camera again, just to kind of
Document what was happening.
document a little bit or do the reporter thing. So, and it was the whole thing was and right. I mean, there's people right next to me, off to my right flank as this is happening. Okay, so just keep that in mind that.
There's been a shooting at the Charlie Kirk event, the TPUSA event. There has been a shooting. Everybody's evacuating. I don't know if that was shots or if that was fireworks, to be honest, but. Good, how are you doing?
Were you able to see anything that happened?
The other thing, Adam, real
right here
quick,
interviewing people. Hang on.
don't mind answering this question real quick. fast is right now, it obviously, I don't think people understand how much these video cameras, especially with these little wider angle lens, distort distances. You know, we can see these buildings, like give us a better picture of like how far this is or how far it's perceived or how much different that looks in person.
I wonder if we could pull up the Google Earth thing.
Sure.
We can go down in there. Maybe that would give us a better
Yep.
kind of a feel. It's a big area. It's big.
Yeah.
You know, like it took me that balcony across the way, you can see right there. That's I started out, I walked over there and got video of the protesters from that angle, you know, starting out. So, I mean, it's a huge area. You can see how tiny those people are all the way in the distance there. I mean, they're, you know, it's a big thing. I think there was over 3,500 people there.
Yeah. So
Quite big area.
When we look at Google Earth here, you guys can see now you were right there at the interview location. And if you go up there and grab that ruler, for instance, yeah,
there's a little yellow guy you can usually drag him down there to get the little street view guy.
I couldn't find a street view on any of this, but if you drag that from that interview location over to the building to the right across the little amphitheater, just want to give everybody a night. Yep, from right there. Yep. Just put a dot, now drag it across. All right, so that's 230 feet. So that's less than 100 yards. Now, if we go back, you guys can see, and that's he's got that that dot pretty far into that building. So we're probably talking like 75 yards when we look back at your video. Thereabouts, yeah, about 75 yards from your location to like the edge of that building. And I got to tell you, you know, in the video, it looks a lot further than that. You can add his video back onto the screen. Just remove the Google Earth and throw his out.
Holy shit! Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck. Is what my kid is saying.
Your kid's saying Charlie Kirk?
So my kid had just called me back.
Oh my goodness!
And
my son is down there.
So my kid had as I called my wife, she didn't answer. So my kid had called me a couple times, and so I answered. You know, when he was calling me, and he tells me, Charlie Kirk, hey Dad, because I'd cut him off the first time, so that's why he'd been calling me. It's like, hey Dad, Charlie Kirk got shot. And when I said this, there's people behind me that you can't see. These kids, they went like that, and as they were, I mean, they were like, you know, like that's the look that you make when you're excitedly anticipating news or hearing, you know, or getting something that is going, you know, that you're excited about. They were excited. I was like, the whole thing was surreal, and I couldn't believe it. I could not believe, you know, it took me a minute to process when that happened. You know, this whole thing was totally insane. So, you know, this whole experience.
Sure.
But let's go ahead.
He says that Charlie Kirk has been shot in the neck. This is unconfirmed. This is from my son who was down there right in front of Charlie Kirk. We're going to go down there and see if we can get any more info. My son just said Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck. I don't know the accuracy of that. You guys okay?
Go. Stay. Abby, are you inside or outside?
My adrenaline was just like,
My son just said that
my
on the
heart
phone.
was beating a million miles an hour right there.
It sounded like to me like it came from up there.
Sounded like a sharpshooter.
Did you hear that guy?
Yeah.
Sounded like it came from up there.
You guys okay?
Go. Stay. Abby, are you inside or outside?
My son just said that on the phone.
See those guys how they're pointing? Did you see that?
We'll come back real quick. Oh, hey, folks, I see you guys adding some super chats. We're going to go back through all the super chats. You can go ahead and ask the question now, put up a super chat or whatever else, but we'll get through a lot of this, and I'll ask him a bunch of questions, and then we'll definitely go back and make sure that we take the time to answer as many of your questions as we can. And you can load them up. We're going to go through them. Don't worry about that. But I know as we go through this, a lot of questions are going to be asked, and maybe we can even go back and review different pieces of footage that you guys want to see in real time later on. But that's what we'll do. Go ahead, Adam.
I think I'm frozen up. Am I frozen?
You might be. Hey, close out the X tab up there. And folks, if for some reason we lose connectivity,
I got it here.
Give us 5-10 minutes back, and if this goes away, I'll throw up another one that has happened to us before. And of course, it's always during some of the bigger ones.
So, let me go to my video settings. What's going on here?
Make my screen big, Kevin. Yep, there we go. Uh-oh.
Let me kill this really quick.
There we go. We got you back.
Am I good?
Yep, you're good.
Okay.
There we go. All right, go ahead.
Okay. All right, let me go back here. Okay, and if you watch these guys, this guy I'm going to walk up and stick the microphone in his face. There's two guys right behind him. They're having the same conversation that we're about to have. See all these people? See, everybody's pointing.
My son just said that on the phone.
It sounded like to me like it came from up there.
You sound like a sharpshooter. Dude, he just got shot.
What happened? After how convenient bit, we all ran off and then I came back and he was gone.
So there's been a lot of people, talking about the police not securing the scene. And at this point, I mean, the guys that were right around Charlie Kirk had just carried him into that car, if you've seen, or the SUV, and then they're back kind of milling around.
Yeah.
And as they were doing that, people are stealing the hats and stuff that you could see in those other clips. And so then they're like kicking into action. As I'm approaching here, they just start kind of like, I think they were in a daze for a couple minutes, honestly.
Sure.
And then they just start realizing, oh, we got to try and do something here. And I think all these guys, I think there's a couple of campus cops I did see on a roof when I had first got there somewhere, or not like an elevated spot somewhere, not on a roof, but like a balcony kind of thing. I think it was on the other side of the balcony. I think there was like two sheriffs when if I went, I'll have to go back and look for sure. But I think that was the only police I saw. It was a couple of campus cops, two sheriffs with their sheriff shirts, and that were somewhere else up above, and then these guys with guns that were part of, I believe, the Turning Point security detail. And so this was definitely not a secure crime scene by any means. This wasn't CSU or anybody like that. These are just people that were there to protect Charlie, and So this is a UVU cop, small cop, I believe. Could be wrong, but I believe that's a campus cop. No, we got some.
We have multiple eyewitnesses saying that Charlie Kirk has been shot in the neck and that they saw blood spray.
So I think It's up there. The spot. I don't know if you guys can see my.
No, we can't see your mouse. What are you referencing?
I think the shooter location, that roof that he was on, that that they showed the official story, Sniper's Nest. I believe it's up in that that building you can see on the left side of the far left side there.
It'll be through the trees.
I'm getting out of here.
Stay close. You guys up this way. Let's go up that way.
You see there was some dude just like right. What's this? Back a little bit. As I'm circling around, there's a guy like at the table, I think, trying to steal a hat or something.
Yeah, we saw that. I don't know if it was in your video, but I definitely saw it in other videos.
I think it's a different guy than was in those other videos. So he gets like, maybe not. Maybe they're just walking by.
All right, real quick, Adam, right here, how far are you away from the table and how far are you away from that backdrop?
I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 feet, maybe 15 feet, maybe 20 feet from the backdrop. I don't think it was that far.
Yeah.
And at this point, I thought, I could walk right in there. And then I thought, nah, better not. And so I pick it up, start moving away. And then some dude comes up and is like, hey, get out of here. Get out of here. So you can see those guys talking about that camera that's been a big point of contention for a lot of people.
Yeah.
They were probably like, hey, should we take that camera lens? Should we take that memory card out and my $10,000 camera? Well, people are just here stealing hats. So I don't know, buddy. What do you think?
Well, let me ask you this. From this vantage point, were you able to see any blood on that backdrop? Or like, was there anything that you saw? Yeah. I mean, did you see any bullet holes in the backdrop? Did you see any blood that you could, from there? And obviously it's going to look a lot closer in person than this. Or was there anything obvious to you?
So here we are. See, we got kind of two rings of that little fencing. No, I went up there, pointed my camera at it, just for to document the moment. And then, like I said, like as I was standing right here, I was like, I could go in probably, and then maybe these guys would object. But I just decided against it at that point and started working my way around the other side. But I couldn't see anything, immediately right here. And then I can't recall if it was right before or right after this. It was right around this time that somebody showed me the gruesome video, and at that time I thought, oh, that's why I didn't see any noticeable blood spatter. Maybe there is some, and I think there was a slow-mo shot from his back right, where you could see some blood splatter, that was kind of went out in the angle right here, but or went out. But maybe there was some blood on there, but not a lot. But that geyser obviously just landed on the grass right next to him, so I don't think it splattered on the table, and he was kind of leaning back, So, I mean, it didn't look like when I saw that clip, one, I didn't think that anybody was coming back from that. But two, I immediately, because when I first came up here, I was like, people say he's been shot, but you don't really see, you're expecting obviously the gruesome scene here. But then, seeing the video, I was like, oh, that makes sense to me anyway, to the non-blood spatter analyst.
Somebody's asking, with what do you have, just a video playing, or can you zoom in right there? I'm sure you don't have it up in like.
Well, let me slide this over here and see. I've never used the StreamYard here, so let me go.
I don't think you won't be able to zoom it in with StreamYard. Folks, what I will tell you is, again, Adam he's released this whole video. So this whole video is available on X on his channel. You can get in there and you can
I do have a way.
Screen grab it, whatever you want to do.
Okay. I'm going to open it up this way. I'm going to turn my volume down. Oh, wait. No, I can turn it. Can I? No, I can't. So we won't be able to hear any audio this way. But I should be able to zoom in on a window, right? Yes, I can. So
now, if you share that screen, you'll probably have to remove the other one that you had. And
I'm
then,
just gonna, where is it? Oh, there we go.
just so you know, we're not seeing what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, I'm just reading the prompts.
Gotcha.
Okay, so window, there we go. Here it is. Share. Perfect. Okay. Now, this should be, wait. I just lost it. So, what are we looking at here? Yes, okay. See if I can zoom this.
Yeah. Hey, Jamie, go ahead and remove that other one. Yep. And add that one to stay. Nope. Just, it says remove it, right? Remove that. Hit that button. There you go. Now add the other one. Yep. I believe that's the one he's trying to show. That's the one you're trying to show. Try the other one.
Yeah, go to the other one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this is the one. Yep. Okay.
There we go.
But when I do this, it goes, I don't want to do that. So, yeah, I'm not tech savvy enough. I don't think to figure out how to zoom on this. My apologies to the commenter.
Yeah, it's not the most user friendly.
Yeah, well, we tried. That's all I can say. So.
Yep, add the other one. Remove
anyway, it would be nice if we could do it, but the other one has sound. Yeah, so that's the better one. We'll just end this. Close window. Okay, perfect. So did you hear that guy? That's another important part where he says, should we cordon this off? So like to answer people's questions, like why didn't they secure this? And like, they're literally just having that discussion. This is how soon after this event, I was on the scene before any of the local cops showed up. These guys were just, I think that guy was probably just, talking to somebody that's in charge, that's sending all the guys that they need, the CSU guys and that kind of stuff. And he's like, hey, should we cordon off the scene? Yeah, probably.
I do enjoy
there's also
out there.
Cops back there in the back. So people were like, hey, he takes the memory cards and walks away. Yeah, the cops were right back here. Like there's a roundabout on this left side behind the tent. And that's where all the cops drove up. They literally drive in to right behind this tent area. And so when they walk back there with the memory card, that's the cops right there. So.
Safety team is here. I just heard them say the active shooter, Charlie Kirk, has been shot. Charlie Kirk got hit, is what the security detail just said.
That was just me overhearing those guys. I mean, how freaking crappy do those guys gotta feel,
Yeah.
So at this point, I was waiting for my kid to come and find me. My wife was in, I think, the Sorensen building. I can't remember exactly, but she had contacted us and said that she was in one of these buildings. And I was waiting for my son at this point. I said, "Hey, I'm standing over here, whatever." So he was working his way. He had fled off to one corner or something with a lot of people. I think I passed by him when I first came down the stairs because he comes from that area. So at this point, I'm just waiting to, my heart's pounding and I'm just like processing, and kind of waiting for him to come around because I'm like, that was my first I've only got one kid, so I don't got any replacements, if you know what I mean. So,
right.
To me, like when this first went down, and I was cursing in the camp as you can hear me cursing in my breath, I was like sick. I brought my kid to a shooting,
My son just messaged me and says that Charlie Kirk.
You need to leave. Yes, sir. Now, quick! Get him out.
So now these guys have got the order. Clear the scene. So up until that guy ordered me to get out, I probably could have, like I said, if you look down at that fence, I probably could have walked right in there and gotten close-up video, but I just didn't think it was right, so I didn't go through the fence. So a lot of I had several comments asking me why, where you could have gotten the perfect footage, but instead you walk off, like a I can't remember what the reference somebody made. I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah, like those same people, if you had walked up in there and gotten more footage, they would be claiming that you're contaminating the crime scene. And by the way, you would have been.
Got it, 100%. So at this point, I'm just waiting for my kid. And I believe that's him, yeah. So he showed up now. No, that's not him. He doesn't have an Apple Watch. That's some old guy. So I'm waiting for him to come around, and I've got my tripod out, and I'm like, hey, I'm waving my hand, that kind of thing, and that's why you can't really hear what I'm saying, because I'm trying to get my kid to figure out where I'm at.
The guy who was arrested, I got a photo of.
So they're talking about George Zinn, the gadfly that got arrested, the old guy.
Yeah.
And that guy, he's a local weirdo that shows up to every scene. He's caused problems at all kinds of events. He's, called in fake bomb threats in the past. He's just a total loon that shows up. And I guess, I don't know if, there's been people saying, oh, he was distracting from the real shooter. Obviously didn't get charged with that. He got charged with, CP stuff, but so he's obviously a weirdo and a pedo, but he was doing this thing like, I shot him, shoot me. I'm not sure if he was actually, I question just because of my own, I've interacted with him in the past doing live streams, and so I would avoid him as a result of my past interaction, and I just don't think, honestly, I don't think he's there enough. I mean, maybe if he's doing that crazy stuff, that he got arrested for, maybe he was more there than that he put on. I don't know, but to me, it didn't seem like he just seems like a crazy guy, and maybe the reaction to the whole event, he just reacted in a crazy way because he's crazy.
Yeah, it does. It is very suspicious that he just, saw what happened and then suddenly just simultaneously just came out and was like, oh, it's me.
Yeah.
That's
it is super weird. Super weird, but super weird, but to me also not surprising. You know, like he's just kook. You know, that's just the only thing I can really say. It strikes me more of as just your crazy weirdo. But
yeah,
who knows?
The love and tolerance crowd.
Yeah, I saw them evaporate as soon as
That's my kid talking. So he's made it
So
through.
apparently, this photographer that was just right here in front of my camera got a picture of the guy that was arrested. He was looking for he's heading to the UVU police to give them that picture.
I don't even remember saying
Where
this.
were you at?
That's how.
I was just over there in that little structure area.
Tell me what happened.
So I was, at first I started off maybe 30 seconds before the shot, walking up the stairs all the way to the side of the bridge underpass area because I was looking for the line to ask him a question. It came to our attention that the line was on the other side, so I went around and ended just by the structure thing. And that's when we heard the gunshot.
Okay, so he was probably more than. He was looking at Charlie, but he was, you know, at least 50 or 60 feet away.
Gotcha.
Into that line.
Now, where the microphone was for people asking questions, and it sounds like, was your son in line for that? Is that what he was doing?
Yeah, he was in line for that, and the microphone right where I was first down at the tent, where I told you that I was looking at moving right, I moved left.
Yep.
That's where the line, that camera that everybody's talking about, that that Candace Owens claims to have seen, was zoomed in. Like there's some people standing there by the fence down there. There was a microphone set up there, and it was zoomed in on that person. So I don't think, and even if it wasn't zoomed in, you can see the tent has like a 6 or 8 inch kind of a banner around the side of it. So I think that camera would have been obstructed by that hanging down portion. I don't think that camera would have had an angle personally in my
It would have had to been a really wide angle camera, which
opinion.
that means that they're zooming in on post and kind of destroying the quality of the footage of the person asking the question.
So I think they're zoomed in on. Just looking at the videos in the past of Charlie Kirk, like it seems to me like they're zoomed in on the speaker, and so I don't believe that would have. I mean, if anything, it's got a more gruesome angle of Charlie Kirk getting killed than we've seen, and so that would be something that I wouldn't, if I was directly involved, you probably wouldn't want that out there. So
yeah, no, I mean I think it. I think for people that if you were the camera guys, and your boss just got shot, and you're just standing there trying to figure things out, and then of course you got several $1,000s of camera gear just sitting there. And in the absence of direction from any law enforcement, that is clearly not, like, I think it'd be logical that, like, you know what, I should grab this camera real quick before we get out of here. And I know there's a lot of people criticizing, and maybe that criticism is justified, but I think if you put yourself in their shoes, their boss was just killed. I don't know how close of a relationship these guys have, but I'm assuming these are the same guys that travel with him everywhere, so they probably knew him extremely well. And they were probably in shock. I think.
I think they were all in shock. And it's like, some crazy thing, car crash happens, and it's happened, and and you're kind of in a weird, transitory state, and you're like, okay, like I guess I better start picking this crap up, and so you just start going about your business because, you really don't have any other options but to just wait around at this point, for those guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got Jack Black here. So, I guess we can turn the volume back up.
I've heard mostly the neck, but I've heard chest a couple times.
So,
I talked to one of the officers. He said he got hit hard. I just pray it's in his shoulder.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's almost like it was set up because the second speaker was the one talking about guns. And then the next thing you know.
Yeah.
So I do get some interviews right here briefly, but most people, because I'm behind the camera, and a lot of people were not interested, and I think and I can understand,
You guys see what happened?
So, and also it's like after seeing the video, and like I kind of felt like it was if I just kept like a lot of people are like, why didn't you get more interviews? Why didn't you? And I'm like, well, for one, a lot of people, like I got one towards the end of a lady who would, and she first started talking. She's like, and then I was like, hey, would you, point the microphone, be on the record? And she's like, I don't know. And she looked at her passenger in the car, and then they're like, okay, as long as, so I kept the camera pointed away, and I got their comments, but that was kind of a lot of people, and I felt like it would just be gratuitous to get the same thing over and over. Oh, I was there and saw Charlie Kirk get, brutally killed.
Right.
Would you willing to talk about it on camera?
So I don't know. Maybe I should have pressed more people, but
Hey, how you doing?
I'm okay.
everybody just was hit so hard.
Definitely
like,
shocking.
And I had also, when I found my son at right by those stairs we were just standing at, like I was this close. My finger was hovering over the button on the iPad to end the stream, and I was just like I was this close to doing it, And part of me with the stuff that's happened with the, the conspiracies and the people going after the TPUSA guy with the cameras, and part of me wishes that I had, but I kept recording. I felt like in the moment, I felt like it was important, and I felt, 2 different times I was going to end it right there, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to let it. I'm just going to keep recording. And so, even though I didn't get too many interviews after this, I kind of just worked my way towards where I thought the shot had come from, and we, and we got back there and we saw tons of cops. We ended up seeing tons of cops on the roof and stuff. And
Turning Point USA event.
Some weird.
Can you just tell me briefly what happened in your eyes?
That kind of thing. But
well, my name's Eric. I was standing about the 3rd level back,
the audio,
so
guys.
probably 50 feet from Charlie. I heard a shot which took my attention away from Charlie, and when I looked back at him after the echoes,
see, he mentions the echoes that I talked about. So a lot of people are like, oh, I had somebody, I was on a Fox something, and I was watching reading the comments, reading through there's, tens of thousands of comments on this Fox interview, where it's just where I'm like recounting, briefly what happened, and then I just tell everybody to be like Charlie Kirk. And there's several comments that are like, this guy's a liar. He wasn't there. How, there was only one shot, and he says, firecrackers, whatever. Like this guy just said after the echoes, because he, it was, everybody had the same kind of thing. It was, it's not like where everybody's here in the middle of a shooting all the time,
Sure.
So
yeah, and that's definitely some weird terrain there as far as from an audio perspective of the acoustics, because that's going to be crazy, and it is. It's like
I mean, everything's concrete and glass surrounding it. So, and up where I was at, that another thing that, if you go back to your diagram you had there, I don't know if you can pull that up still, but at my angle, the direct line of sight, there was not only trees, but there's a building, the corner of a building poking out. So you can see on that, so you can see the white building there on that big building that goes down to a point. So where the shooter was at, that building would have been in the way. So that would have been an obstruction to a direct line for the audio to even get to my microphone. So it would have.
Jamie, if you go back real quick, hey, look, scroll to the right on the side. Nope. You'll see the shooter location. Up.
Maybe close that X on the top.
Or it's not right there. You need to pull it forward. There you go. All right. So off to the right, go directly right and up. Nope. No. One tier up.
So that's the top.
Now go. Hey, bring me the mouse real quick, please. Anyways, folks, you guys can see the 3-level building there at the top right corner around the 1 o'clock. This is where it was. And I do have this. There we go. We zoom out. We have the shooter location. You guys can see And I don't know why it's not showing the line of sight, but I'll show this to you real quick. We can see that it's basically right here. We will draw right there. That is the alleged location. And then we have Charlie Kirk right about there. And you guys can see that line of sight. Get rid of that right there, but you guys can see what's going on there. That is it right there. From there to there. Right here. And there is it is a very, I mean, from this perspective, and of course I do have.
So yeah, that's my point was, yeah, there you go. So my point was, is that the audio would not, you know, as far as, you know, in my own defense, saying that, hoping that it was firecrackers at the start, you know, my own brain.
Right.
I didn't have direct, it had to echo around that corner of that building to get to me and where my position, you know, and that guy, you know, just saying the same thing. Just if you weren't there, it's hard to describe, really.
Yeah.
So,
and then I do have folks, and it's a little tough to see, but I did play it in the show it in the last video. We can see what
from his neck or his head.
We can actually see what that line of sight looks like.
There you go.
Let me remove this.
That's still a pretty elevated view too. So I don't think there was a.
All right, you can see what that line of sight looks like. It is right there. And then if we look at from the other perspective,
and my kid could have made that shot when he's 11, by the way.
Yeah, it's nothing difficult about that. And I know there was another question basically, and it's a really long photo, but I posted this on X. You can go take a look at this on X. As far as I know, a lot of people were basically saying, hey, there's not a line of sight, or if the shooter was shooting from that location, basically they wouldn't be able to, they would hit people that are in the audience. And we have a very clear line of sight. You can go see this better on my X account, my X profile, but there is more than enough room for a clear shot to Charlie Kirk. So, you know, I know that's been kind of one of the questions out there. Now, real quick, Adam, what we'll do is we'll kind of go to some of the, you can take that. We'll go and we'll start throwing up some questions, folks. And again, we'll try to get to as many questions as we can. We are going to prioritize the super chats, and we appreciate everybody out there. So Christopher Henry, thank you for that super chat. Go ahead and show that. I'll just show all those. Anything that. All right, Mike Ross, how prevalent is Antifa across the Northwest, and why aren't the police taking care of them as soon as they do normal criminal activity in those areas? It seems they get off most of the time. Seems like mafia tactics when needed. Obviously, this was early on, but go ahead and answer that question, Adam.
Well, if you follow Andy No, you can get an idea how prevalent they are. They're everywhere, to the point where they, you know, took over several city blocks, and I mean they would show up in four. I made first time I ever did anything that went viral. I made this meme of the Antifa guys, and they had these little shields. And if you remember that scene from 300 where the guys are, you know, fighting off the hordes of
the phalanx,
got their shields, you know, they were like that. You know, that's what they thought they were. They thought they were the guys from 300. And I made this little juxtaposition meme, and it was this little video, and it was pretty funny. But they have serious numbers out there, and you know, and it's here too. It's not unique to Seattle and Portland by any means. You know, and the reason they keep getting off is because of the district attorneys that get that are in power up there. You know, they've got a total lock on you know, a whole other story. They got a total lock up there in Washington. They can the you know, the Democrats, and I hate to be the guy that's, you know, us versus them as far as, you know, the two-party system, but that's the reality. They're in control. They control every single facet of the, you know, the government. They've got a super majority, and as a result, they let these criminals off. They don't care about me and you.
Yeah. Don Combs, thank you very much. Don, he says, I hope you're able to watch the redacted video I sent in the comment section. So that the videos, any links that go up in these comment sections are going to get removed by YouTube right away. If you want to send me any links to any videos, make sure you go to my account on X. That's the easiest way to send send them. If you guys have something for me to see, and I'm still going through literally thousands of emails, I'm trying to go through those as much as possible. Probably 80% of them are things that are being resent over and over. It's like the same stuff. But go to X. If you want to send an email, it's dlpodcast@ParamountTactical.com. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Adam. Much love. Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa.
Gary, you do an excellent and very accurate job. Please put the option for Spanish translation when you upload this live to your videos. Rest in peace, Charlie. Luis, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I will explore that. I don't know if that is an option for live streams after this. I don't upload this. Now, we probably can. We can go through and re-upload this, but it's going to post automatically. And I don't know if there's options or it automatically gives the Spanish option, but I'll check into that. Thank you. Ron James, thank you very much. If you were to see what old school journalism looks like, check out Andy No and Elad Eliyahu. I follow Andy No. I read his stuff as much as I can. I've never met or seen Elad Eliyahu.
Is that the guy that's on Timcast?
Maybe. I don't know.
Excuse me.
Would he have bled out completely by the stage? No blood seen at all on his torso and shoes when being carried to the SUV. Blessings, Gary Newsub. Thank you.
I don't know. I think he can. I think his shirt is all red when he's being carried to the SUV. When I watched that a few times, but when I see that, I don't. You've only got it. Once that volume of blood is gone from your body, like. I've heard people say he would have been dead if he got shot in the emergency room.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's accurate, but I think he was gone by the time he got to the hospital. But
I agree. Specifically on the blood, folks, what happens physiologically is, again, when we get two things are going on. Number one, if that hit him in his brainstem, or if he was dead right there, we're going to have blood pressure that's still in the body that's going to expel a certain amount of blood. But at some point, very quickly after that, and I do think that's the case, is that the heart's going to stop beating. And I think his heart was done beating before they started moving him. So he obviously would still have some blood in him, but he definitely bled out a lot. And I think that's why he had passed by the time we started moving him, in my opinion. And I've talked to some doctors, and they've said the same thing. Adam, what were your initial thoughts on security? Did you suspect security concerns initially, and did you ever seen advanced drone coverage at all from private security during or prior to incident?
So, sorry, I'm just messaging my kid.
That's okay.
So, initial thoughts on the security. Did you suspect any security concerns? Let me move this over real quick. And did you ever see advanced drone coverages? I didn't like at the vigil that I was at on a few days ago. I think it was Sunday, maybe it was Saturday. The Cougar Chronicle and some other people put on a vigil. There was a drone that was noticeable, and I went over to get close to it. So you didn't see any drones while you were there? While I was there, I did not see any. I know there's been a lot of. There's people that have gained a huge following just off of posting things that they found in my footage, and that they're making, and it's generating a lot of conspiracy theories. So I know there's a lot of that out there coming from my footage, and I do feel bad about it. That's a whole other side discussion. I'm not happy about it, but I didn't see any drones there, so I can't speak to the validity of those claims. There's some, I've looked up close with Jason Goodman. He showed me some stills of some stuff from my footage that I clearly don't have an answer for. I don't know what to make of that kind of stuff. So I'm really not going to go there as far as talking the drone things. I don't know if that's what Ron's getting at, but that's been a huge deal, over the last week. As far as the security, there was zero. I mean, like I said, I believe there was a couple cops on an elevated position. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your help. Had to re-up here. So there was I did see, some sheriffs with their tan shirts I think it was on the other side of the balcony, if I recall, past the taped off area so that the protesters couldn't be right above Charlie. But if you watch what we just watched, you can see that they're, as we were just going over, the guys talking about securing the scene, that kind of thing. There was no real security. There was a detail around Charlie. There was a couple of campus cops, and that was it. They somebody says security dropped the ball. I don't know. I can tell you that one of my friends in the legislature says that, and I'm not sure if it already happened or not, but they are bringing some UVU people to testify in front of the legislature, and they're doing an inquiry on the security of that event and why there wasn't, better security. So there was zero security, in my opinion. And a lot of people are like, why would there be security? It was, and I feel like you have this person, somebody that's notable that's coming, and they're getting death threats. I mean, there should be some level of security. And just to kind of go over the differences, I had attended the Republican state convention at UVU. I was not in it was at the UCCU Center, so it was not in the courtyard. But I had to enter through the exact same doors. And when I went to the Republican convention, mind you, I'm carrying my Ghostbuster pack, as my kid says, with my stuff coming out of it, and I've got tripods sticking out of it like like samurai swords, poking out of I got all this gear hanging off of me. And going into the Republican convention, they stop me, they search my bag, they check every little thing. At this event, I just walked in through the same doors. It was like class had just gotten out, so it was in the middle of the school day, and there was kids. I mean, they're not kids. They're obviously they're college students or they're adults, but they were everywhere. There were backpacks, and everybody had a backpack. There was thousands of them. I was wading through the hallways, and I had run into some student. She's like, "Oh, I'm here on my date. Do you know where?" Because she sees all my camera gear. Hey, do you know where this Charlie Kirk thing? I said, I'd like to ask you the same question. So I showed her a picture of the protesters that my kid had sent me because he was already in the thing. I was like, "Where's this at?" And so we walked through. We waded through all this stuff. There was no checks for me anyway. As far as walking onto the school. So I was able to walk right in and start yarding stuff out of my bag. Without any interference. Nobody stopped me. So to answer this question, the guy's question, there was no security. So
there was no security, and you didn't see any. He's basically asking if there was drones, basically doing any sort of security assessment in real time, prior, during, or after. And
yeah, if there was a drone, I hope the cops, the FBI would have the footage. I don't know if there was an official drone or not from Charlie's people or from UVU or what. I didn't hear any typical drone buzzing, so I mean it's usually pretty apparent, even with when there's people, even when there's a crowd of people, it's usually pretty obvious when there's a drone around. So as far as a traditional like retail drone that most people can buy, no. The still frames that Jason Goodman showed me look like a land survey drone that I've seen in real life. They cost like $10,000, and batteries are not included, so it's not at your. If that was the case, that's not something that would obviously be like an official thing. So maybe there's some official footage, but even in that case, I think I would have been aware of it. And I just wasn't. So I don't.
I'll just tell everybody during the second Trump rally at Butler, which I went to, they had a couple of drones, and they were large ones. And let me tell you something. Even when you were several hundred feet, 100 yards plus away from them, and they were playing music or whatever else, you could hear those larger drones for sure. And of course, you definitely can, some of the Mavic, DJI Mavics and things like that. Depending on how high they are, you can see them and usually hear them. But good. Matt Martin, thank you. Candace Owens tonight said knows guy that took camera down. She watched the footage, said very clean, no gore. She requested for someone with your background to reach out to her. Be happy to talk with Candace. Would love that if that's what you're talking about, or to Adam. I'm sure he would love to talk to Candace as well. Free men die free, $5. Thank you. If the suspect was elevated at enough angle, the round should deflect down. That clearly wasn't what happened. I've talked about this before. If we're still talking about body armor, which I'll happily talk about. Look, guys, for those people that shoot steel out there, we shoot steel all the time. And a lot of times we will shoot steel even from the prone. So you have steel hanging like this. It hangs at the top. It has a high axis so that the center of gravity pulls it this way so that we have deflection of the spalling down, right? Guess what? We can be very close. I mean, I've shot 10 yards. I've shot steel at like 10 yards in the prone, right? So the angle is much higher. So we're talking probably a 30-degree angle plus. And even when I shoot up at an angled surface with ballistic resistance, it will still deflect down. Depending on, there's obviously variables involved, right? But even if I shoot up like this, it's going to hit this and angle down. It doesn't want to go up against this way. And it can, like, if the angle is severe enough. But we're only talking about 10 degrees, folks. Like, 10 degrees is not what you guys think it is. It was like 9.2 according to my calculations, and I just went with 10 degrees, and so the angle was not as severe as most people think. Blaze Long, you have the most grounded opinions. Logic chat is full of trolls. They are indeed. The trolls are in force tonight, and I'd expect nothing less. Timeout. The guy who knows the direction from a shot because he Elcons allegedly can't tell the difference between fireworks and a 30-06.
So let me just say that I am no avid hunter by any means. So, but I can tell you that as a guy who's hunted dozens of times with my brother, and I've shot my own elk, you get a sense for it, and it's in the moment. I'm telling you, the crack sounded in a way that I was hoping that it was firecrackers. Okay. And, but at the same time, you get a sense for where it came from. Like it's, even when it's echo, even when you're down in a ravine and the shot is taken from, 3 hills over, you know where the other shooter's at and where it came from. So unless you were there, it's hard to describe. And I'm telling you, everybody there, just like, and to my point, you don't need my account for it. We just saw several people. We saw many people pointing in the direction, and people saying came from over there. So it wasn't just me. Don't take my word for it by any means, but there was a lot of people there, and I was there, and you weren't, Rusted Nuts. So, or not Rusted Nuts. Sorry, wrong guy. Whoever the last guy was.
The other thing that I'll add to that is a good friend of mine who I was at First Special Forces Group with. He was a team sergeant. This guy has multiple combat tours, all the like. And he was at the Las Vegas shooting, and his wife was killed. And, when I was talking to him afterwards about it, I'm like, hey, you know what? He's like, well, when it first started, man, I we're at this music festival. He's like, I'll be honest with you, I thought it was fireworks. And then at some point, they realized that people were getting hit, things like that, and they started moving. And I'll leave it right there. But the fact is that sound does crazy things, and doesn't mean that you don't know the direction of it. But what I will say is, like, I don't think anybody can judge anything if you're just listening to audio. Like, audio, even is the best audio that I've seen, but I can tell you from a lot of experience shooting video of firearms, it's very difficult to tell what's going on.
I can tell you, I wanted it to be firecracker. I wanted it to be somebody playing a prank. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
So
fair enough. And it probably takes a minute. I don't care who you are, especially you can take any combat vet. You take them out of combat, you put them in some sort of situation like that. Like, there's a little bit of, cognitive dissonance, is like, oh, is that what I think it is? Like, you're not prepared for that. You're not in the mindset of it. Of course, if you're in combat or you're out in the woods hunting and you hear something, you're already tuned in for that. So it's a different experience altogether. Rusted Nuts. Have you seen the video that shows the apparent muzzle flash from the building to Charlie's right? I've seen it.
I have seen it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
I was saying I saw it. It's a reflection. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say that it's either a
Just be clear to
reflection
speak on that.
or potentially a. I mean, it's on glass. Like,
Yeah.
Here's my problem, and this came up during the Butler situation. Are we saying that they shot through the glass? Because it's either a reflection, or the other thing that could possibly be is someone taking, if it's a flash on the other side of the glass. I don't know. I don't know if those areas were secured or people were up there or whatever else. But what I also will tell you is that I have looked at that flash to the impact, and I can tell you it sure does look like, by how many frames I can count, the distance, there's too much time between, there's too many frames. It's like 2 or 3 frames that we're seeing there. It doesn't look like it, and to begin with, it doesn't look like muzzle flash to me. It's also very unlikely. It's very hard. It's very rare that you're going to catch muzzle flash during daylight hours. There's usually too much light. I mean, there's definitely exceptions to that. If you had a really short barrel, there's some things that could happen. So I won't completely dismiss it, but it doesn't look like muzzle flash to me. Kevin Honeycutt, thank you. Ken Crow, have you ever heard of a Remington 30-06 accelerator ammo produced in the late 70s, early 80s, which fired a 22 caliber, 55 grain Sabat round traveling over 4,000 feet per second? Could that possibly explain why no exit wound after ricochet? So if we're talking about a very narrow, a very thin cross-section bullet, right? And this is the problem that we see with 5.56. A lot of people say that 5.56 isn't lethal enough because what we have is a very small caliber round that is moving at high velocity. So we're talking about something that's, and I have to see exactly what the Sabat looks like in the cross-section of it. But if we have a very small round that's moving into extreme, 4,000 feet per second is ridiculous, folks. Like 30-06, 308, we're usually talking like 2,500 to 2,800 feet per second. 3,000 feet per second is a really fast round. Usually talking about like 6mm, 6 Creedmoor, 6 dash, whatever, right? So 3,000 feet per second is what we call a barrel burner. Right? That's fast. So when we're getting 4,000 feet per second, number one, the first thing I would expect is a very small entrance wound, and then I would expect I would definitely expect an exit wound, and that's what we see with 5.56. Is that it? What we call ice picks through you, right? It's such a small round. It's moving at a very high velocity. It just goes through people. It doesn't dump a lot of energy, and it's usually causes a problem depending on what type of ammo and what type of situation you're in. One thing I didn't notice, people that appeared to be medics or aid personnel had no blood on themselves or gloves. Did anyone of them appear to have given aid? I was wondering that myself. I don't know if you have an answer for that.
I believe they showed up after Charlie was loaded into the SUV and gone. I think he was out of there, and they showed up from the campus with nothing to do. That's what I believe.
Eli Mercer, I think Charlie had his stealth Kevlar tank top vest on while seated, which the impact via
go back up one click.
Did from Charlie left side again, please. No one sees the exit wound because the Kevlar back caught the bullet. I will say that right now there's mostly evidence, and here's the weird thing, folks. I have gotten multiple supposed sources from close to Charlie giving me conflicting information when it comes to whether or not he had body armor that day. What I will tell you is that if you're not aware of kind of like some of the current technology when it comes to body armor, there is definitely body armor out there that, number one, they 3D scan and get it's basically custom body armor, right? It's meant to be extremely low profile. I'm not saying that he was wearing body armor. The fact is, I don't know at this point. And the fact is that I'm probably about 80% that he didn't. But we can't say one way or the other. And I would say, like, I think it's safe to say at this point, the evidence says that he wasn't wearing body armor, and that's fine. That's fine. Candace Owens stated in her last video she was able to see the footage from behind Charlie. No exit, no blood, nothing gruesome. Trying to get them to put out the footage so people can see no exit.
I don't buy it. I think she made the logical deductions that we just made, which was that it was zoomed in on the person, that kind of thing. Because for one, they said they gave the cards to the FBI. So does that mean that she had an FBI person? No, she's claiming it's someone from TPUSA. So I just don't buy it, with I don't know. I don't want to criticize Candace. I hate punching right, but I just don't buy it.
It would also seem odd to me because apparently there is like a little bit of friction. Like I don't see how TPUSA would end up reaching out to Candace because there is what they described as a quiet breakup for a really long time with Charlie and Candace. But again, it's all speculation. So who knows whether she's telling the truth or not. Jody Carruthers, thank you very much. Thank you. Please talk about covering grass with concrete. Why? That is bizarre to me. Adam, I don't know if you have more information on that, but I'm like every time, and they did this stuff during Butler too. Like if you guys are trying to squash the idea that there's some conspiracy, you're doing a piss poor job of it. And this is one thing that absolutely astounds me. I just am completely perplexed by them suddenly wanting to pave over that area. Do you have information on that, Adam?
So I wasn't sure. I'll have to go back and look at the news coverage. I wasn't sure if they poured new cement or if they just took up the grass that was on top of the cement.
It looks like to me that they were putting blocks down, like paving blocks.
Maybe blocks, yeah. So I to my understanding, I could be wrong, but the blood spot was cut out and removed of the sod. So I'm sure the UVU staff just can't wait to move past the tragedy. So I can kind of see both sides, but it's stupid. I mean, I don't know why they do that, but I think it was a little premature personally. I know they wanted to get class back open, that kind of thing. So who knows? I mean, I don't want to.
Well, it's not like
there's any conspiracy to it, but I can see where they're, and I think that really, I mean, what else is there after the CSU's done? It's like if they're done and wrapped up, it's not. If they probably got the green light from somebody in the on the official side, that'd be my guess. But yeah, but it's kind of stupid.
JJ from Iowa, Gary, thanks for the videos and the guests in the live stream along with your analysis. Reading next. And half this chat proves how ridiculous the situation has gotten. I was thinking about this today. Yeah, it's gotten a little ridiculous. There's no doubt about it. But I think Charlie Kirk is sitting down and looking down and laughing about this. He had a great sense of humor, and I do think that he would find a little bit of joy in the fact that there is so much controversy and so many conspiracy theories and everything in between. And look, I do not say the word conspiracy theory as a pejorative. Look, there's definitely conspiracies, and there's definitely conspiracy theories and everything in between. And some of them have a little bit more validity than the other. And we might be able to talk a little bit more about that. But next question. Gary Primus, 99 cents. Thanks, buddy. Candace Owen needs to watch this. She is so unhinged. I'll leave it there. I like Candace Owens a lot, but I'll just leave it there. Next one. Candace Owen talked with the guy who removed the SD card and said she saw the video. There's no blood from the backside. Next one. Laura Mountjoy, thank you. Do we know why you replaced a pane of glass behind tent and paved over the dirt? We just discussed that. No, we don't. What is your take on the exchange?
Was there glass replaced? I've never heard that. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah. Apparently they're like, I also heard, and again, I've been so busy, folks. I finally got a good, some sleep last night. I've been running multiple days on like 2 or 3 hours of sleep. What is your take on the exchange that happened at 37 in your video when you were interviewing what appears to be a TPUSA staffer and the rest of the staffers came up and stopped him? Seems sus. I know what he's talking. I'm sure you know.
Yeah. I know what they're talking about. So that same guy is on video. I believe I maybe retweeted it. I think Phil Lyman posted a video of it. I don't know if he took it himself or not, but that guy did get his story out. But all of those TPUSA bros, they were really up close with Charlie when it happened, and they were really emotional. And those guys, they were like frat boys, and they might have been, I think they were the local chapter of the TPUSA, but my take was that they were just really, really emotional, and they were trying to protect their bro, essentially, and or calm him down or whatever. I don't know what it was, but that was my take. It was just like kind of a frat bro, like emotional thing. They were all really emotional. So I just was like, hey, I'm just going to leave. I wasn't going to press the situation. So
yeah, right wing gun nut. Adam, do you think they weren't checking bags because there was concealed carry allowed on the campus? They're already. Thanks as always, Gary.
No, I don't think. I think it's just because it was and Charlie does it this way. He would have them in the middle of a school day because he wanted to get students, and obviously lots of people show up that just want to hear Charlie, that are kind of in the scene, but that was his main goal. So I think that there's probably a logistical challenge there to try and coordinate real security. There's probably a monetary element there, but yeah, there was definitely no bag checks, but I don't think it was. I think it was just because it was a school day, and I don't think that anybody was really, expecting anything really to happen in Provo, Utah.
Awesome. Black Warrior Spirit. Go back. Black Warrior Spirit, Army veteran here. Thanks for your service, buddy. Good live. Respectfully, it appears his security detail was unusually lax compared to more aggressive posture at other events. What's your thoughts on that, Adam?
Well, I mean, like what I just said. Maybe there was a lax security. Maybe they didn't have as much as they would normally. Maybe if they're at Berkeley, UC Berkeley, they're gonna have a different level of security than they would at Provo, Utah, or Orem, Utah, UVU. So I really can't. I hope we get some real answers from that. Trevor Lee, state rep, he said that he was working with one of the senators, and they were calling some people from UVU. In front of the legislature, so we should be getting some answers on that, hopefully.
Laura Mountjoy said, my boyfriend was killed in a hunting accident, raccoons from the car, and caught a bullet behind his ear, bled out inside his body, no blood in the car. That's
wow,
horrible. The other thing too, folks, is not necessarily that you're going to, I don't think that Charlie Kirk personally died from blood perfusion, that loss of blood. I think he died almost instantly because his at a minimum his entire spinal cord is blown out. And there's been several neurosurgeons talk about this. I think there was enough damage to his brain, and
well, you can see him like seize up when he seizes up and holds the microphone up, and then he just crumples to the ground. I think that was his spinal cord.
Yeah, corticate posturing. Next one, One Bear. Thank you. 3,000 people when getting told the police and FBI confiscated all phones and footage. Yeah, not buying that BS. Impossible. I haven't heard that story, and I from what we see, we saw footage right from the front row, but
what is it? Sorry, what is this story?
3,000 people and getting told that the police and FBI confiscated all phones and footage. Yeah, not buying that BS. Impossible.
I don't think they confiscated anybody's phones.
Yeah, I haven't heard that anybody said that or anything else. Holy moly, you just had your 200,000 sub special. 147,000. Yeah, we did, and I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Ace Jr. $5. Nothing else makes sense in this situation. He had to have body armor on. I think right now I'm at 85%, maybe 90% that he didn't have body armor. And at the end of the day, I don't think it changes anything. I still think that there's enough evidence where we can and I went through that evidence in my video. I think we see enough information at least to get some sort of direction. I showed, the transfer of energy. We have something. It doesn't matter what it is. I know there's an argument. I'm still going to go with necklace because we have no indication that he had ear monitors on, and there's lots of footage before and during that clearly show that he has no ear monitors on. You can go look at all his other live events. He's never had ear monitors on. There's lots of close-up footage, no ear monitors, and it doesn't really matter. But we see something fly directly behind him. It's either a necklace or ear monitors. And I don't know how anyone can explain that from the current most prevalent theory that we have a shot from his right flank. Will Banks Home Improvement. Tama's channel with a baby is profile pic. He only has 2 videos. One of them clearly shows the exit wound. I promise it will answer everything, Gary. I have looked at every video that everybody has sent me saying that there is blood, there's indication of an exit wound. I will gladly, Will Banks, it's just one of several hundred. I'll gladly go look at that. Every time I see something that somebody's saying is an exit wound or blood on the side of his head, it is the same picture. And it is essentially the dark portion of his hair. He turns like this. You can start seeing the as his hair line goes down, we start seeing that. And then that picture, it's really pixelated. And you have chromatic aberration and some fringing going on that makes it appear a little red. But then you have to, if you said that's blood, then you have to like forget that he has hair. And it lines up perfectly. But I'll check that out. It's definitely worth checking out. 95 GT. Thank you very much. I saw a picture and video today. It looks like big paving blocks, but what's up with the trap door that was right where
the utility box?
That's a head scratcher. Now, that is a good question. When I saw that, I thought it was a little odd. Now, is that something that's just so I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you have this information or you're just speculating, whatever, but is there any way that somebody could get down in that?
I believe it just has power plugs and stuff in a weatherproof box, but no, I don't know. I've seen that kind of thing. That's what I believe it is. But maybe we'll have to go walk onto campus and take a look.
Ken Crow, thank you very much, buddy. It's a SP bullet, actually 80 feet per second. I bet that depends completely on barrel length, right? Was made for 30-06, 308, 30-30 until feds asked Remington to stop making it for 30-06 and 30-30. Read that somewhere. It was made for varmint hunting. We can check that out. There's nothing wrong with dotting our I's and crossing our T's. Next one. Why is common sense not so common today? After watching some of the comments today, I am absolutely amazed. Just saying, sorry, Jeff and Jason, for the caps. Next. Thanks, Gary. Terry Cornell, thank you. No one is talking about the Epstein files. Mission accomplished. The Epstein files, I promise you, are going to come back hard and heavy. And they're not completely gone. Trust me. I'm a big... We need answers on the Epstein files, and there's plenty of high-profile people out there that are not going to let that go. I think it does appear that all of Washington is ready for the Epstein files to go away, and I don't have a good answer for you on that. Next one. If it was a direct hit, which looked like it was, it's hard to believe there was no exit wound, especially being a rifle round. Thoughts? Talked about that several times. I think that's one of the most perplexing things about this entire thing is that we do not have an exit wound. Go watch all of my videos on that. I heard Zeb Boykin saying the flash on the glass, the bullet breaking the sound barrier. What's your thoughts? Bullets don't flash when they break the sound barrier. Never seen it, even in.
If you want to go back to my, if you did go back to my video, there. Sorry to cut you off. There is several points where I'm on the balcony right after the shots, where there is. I don't know if it's camera flashes, but there's definitely reflections of maybe it's people's glass phone screens or whatever. But there's reflections coming at the camera, and there's at least 2. I just rewatched it because when somebody first asked about it, and you can definitely, there are reflections coming at my general direction. So I can't, to me, it doesn't seem like it's out of the realm of possibility that it's just a camera flash or a reflection off of something, because of the way the sun is angling, it's going to reflect right back on that area. So it could have been something. It could be the rifle, I'll
move that one.
The rifle flash, who knows? But
folks, a bullet, I mean, anybody that's taken muzzle velocity, a bullet doesn't like leave the gun and then go supersonic. The bullet, any projectile, is supersonic from the muzzle. That's why you want to get muzzle velocity, because the moment that it leaves the muzzle, it is at its highest velocity. So that's why we get that. So I don't know if that's what we're suggesting. Trust me. I was actually supposed to have Zeb on tonight. We were going to get together and do this. And then I asked him, I was like, hey man, can we push? Because I was talking to Adam, and he had a busy schedule. this evening was the easiest for him. It was the easiest for me. So we made this happen. But Zeb and I will get together, and I've talked to him. He has my phone number. We've talked. So, again, some of you clowns over even in the chat.
Who is this Zeb?
So Zeb Boykin is a Marine Corps sniper. He put out some videos, and one of the videos that he put out.
Oh, I think I saw somebody like that.
People kept sending me those videos, and I did basically kind of a reaction video to it. Kind of went through and talked about why I disagreed with him. And again, I think Zeb's a smart guy. I got nothing against him. He's a fellow veteran. I'm not gonna say he's an idiot. I don't think he's an idiot. I don't think a lot of these things. I think it's misperception. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, some people are going to be right. Some people are going to be wrong. I also think that Zeb is earnest. I don't think he's trying to deceive anybody. I'm sure not trying to deceive anybody. And I definitely don't want to mischaracterize what he's saying. I don't think this is what he's saying because I'm sure that Zeb knows that the moment the bullet comes out of, he's saying it's muzzle flash. That's what I've heard him say as far as I understand it. And I haven't watched, other than one video, I haven't watched his other content. I don't know where he is or where he's evolved on these theories. So maybe, and that's why I want to get together with him, and we can sit there and talk about it and challenge each other and have a fun, good discussion. And it's, if we end up disagreeing on how we, interpret the events, it's freaking okay, right? We're both trying to do the best we can. I do believe that's true. Next one. Both y'all are handsome and smart. Good men. Take the compliment. I will, by God.
Thank you very much.
I could tell whoever you
know
are.
Who agrees with you? My mom.
You have good taste in men. Will Banks Home Improvement. You haven't seen this one. It's from Charlie's Lift and shows all, even the hole in back of shirt. If you pull it up, everything will be answered. Well, I'm not pulling it up right now. I'm going to go through that first. I happily do that. Send it to me on X, and then you can also send that to me at dlpodcast@paramountactical.com. Jamie, put dlpodcast@paramountactical.com down there in the comments section just so that people can reference it later. There we go. Nope, .com. Good job. All right, next one. Has anyone thought to check local shooting range video for this guy? This is not really an easy shot for a newbie on the roof. It is so ridiculously easy. I'm so tired of hearing that. Like, we can postulate about all these other things, but the idea that a 140-yard shot taken with a decent rifle, laying in the prone, it doesn't get much easier than that. Like, it really doesn't. So I'm sure the feds are looking at different shooting ranges. I'm sure they're talking to his parents. I'm sure they're talking to everybody and trying to figure out how much planning went into this. I do think that this guy planned it out. I do think that.
I believe that he had co-conspirators, but
what's that?
I said I do believe the theory about his co-conspirators. I think he let his inner circle of his his little circle jerk of weirdos in on it, and that's why we have those 3 or 4 or 5 different tweets and social media posts and different things that were a Spotify song and that kind of thing that came out in advance leading up to it. So I do believe that theory.
Yeah, I do too. I think there were more people involved with this. Yeah. Go back. I didn't get to that one yet, man. Just watch the Tomas video. Shows back collar of shirt moving off neck in a bullet shape at the appropriate.
I just watched it too.
Exit wound to be an exit event drive on. So if we're just talking about the swelling of the back of the neck, I have seen that.
Yeah,
and I've seen it, but we don't see an exit wound, right? Did you see an exit wound if you're watching it, Adam?
I just watched it. I didn't see it. No, I mean, you can kind of see a bulge, but that's it.
Yeah, I don't doubt there's a bulge. This channel, Cross Examine, is a very good friend of Charlie guy in the white hat, white shirt. He posted a video about the drone necklace into the hospital. Charlie once said that grammar is really important, and I agree with him. Drone comments, yeah. So I know that they were watching some drone footage prior to arriving. With your estimate 1.75 inch downward angle, does that put the bullet in his torso? No, it puts it from, we're talking from here, all right, left side, 2 inches down. So more like if he was sitting upright, which it looks like he was, it's less than 2 inches. We go to the back of the neck, I don't know, 2 inches from the entrance, less than 2 inches from the entrance. With
What's his question about?
So I talk about, I go over the slope of the shot, right? So from the point of where
off of the 30-06.
Yep. So we're well, that and the angle, right? So the angle ends up being 10 degrees. So basically what I did was I calculated, hey, if a bullet's traveling at 10 degrees, all right, and it travels 10 inches, it's probably a little larger than Charlie's actual neck size. But if it travels 10 inches at a 10-degree slope, entrance versus exit wound. So it would the difference in elevation would be 1.74, 1.75.
Do you think he was aiming for his face?
No. Look, I don't know where he's aiming for.
I don't think he was heading for a headshot, and the bullet. Somebody was saying that the bullet dropped, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a ballistics guy like you.
So there's less than a half M away. So there's less than. So there's some things here. Number one, if we're shooting in a slope and it's 140 yards, folks, because of a slope, the 10-degree slope, it would be more like shooting the distance of like 125, 130 yards. So the slope actually, because of gravity, and this would take a whole ballistics class and long range course, because I'm shooting at a downward angle, the actual distance that the bullet is traveling it would hit at the same point if I was shooting it at 125 or 30 yards. Come to one of our long range courses. We'll teach you how shooting a slope dope and high angle shooting it works.
Can you cut me off screen for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you go to the next question. Cool.
Yep.
Just need a quick break.
That's okay. So anyways, 1.75 inches, it went in here. It basically would be, by the time I got to the back of his neck, it'd be 1.75 inches lower. So toward his lower spine, his lower neck rather. On your first analysis video, Dan Landis, thank you. On your first analysis video on Charlie's left at 846, you see a small streak. Bullet from left to right from his neck area. Passes in front of the bodyguard's bicep where his black sleeve is. I've talked about this before. You're not going to catch a bullet mid-flight on a cell phone. And if you do, even if you catch it, go watch my last video. I show this. Go ask any professional photographer. Go ask any professional videographer. You are not going to catch bullets mid-flight using normal camera settings. You have to be shooting extremely high shutter speed. You have to have really good lights. You're going to have a really good camera. Like when we're shooting in any sort of normal conditions with a cell phone at 24, 30 frames per second, the idea that you are going to get a bullet mid-flight is preposterous. It's all but impossible. And if you did catch it, it wouldn't look like a single bullet. It would look like a streak. You can just go Google this right now. You can go Google the Trump assassination bullet caught midair, something along those lines. There was like some award-winning photo. The guy had a extremely good, professional camera. I don't know if he was shooting Sony or Canon, doesn't matter. He was using 1/8000 shutter speed. And then that bullet looks like a 14 to 18 inch streak, gray streak in the sky. He didn't catch a bullet mid-flight. Next one. Watch the video that Tomas told you about. It clearly shows the bullet coming out of his back. His front wound looks larger because of the blood. Okay, I'll take it out. Check it out. I mean, the problem is, okay, if it looks like and did are very similar, or two different things, right? Like we have no blood. Like the thing about, like in this instance, it's unique because we have a witness board behind Charlie, right? And so if it came out, why don't we see any blood? Why don't we see a bullet hole in the back of that thing? Why don't we see, like, where's the other evidence of an exit wound? I haven't seen that. And I'm fine with, I'd love to see it, but I just haven't. You can bring him back on. Thanks, Gary, as always. Another whopper. How about a 130 grain Glacier safety slug. By the way, 4080 was from a 26-inch barrel, just all fuel for thought. I don't know what a glacier slug is. I never actually have heard of a glacier safety slug. I have to check that out. What about the Amazon book that came out a day before the actual shooting? So apparently, I haven't looked into that. It is obviously
a little bit about it.
But what you can do apparently on Amazon, what I've heard this explained away as, is that you can actually go in there and you can actually change the date. So you can, I can literally go in and put a book on Amazon today and say that I can change the listing start date of like 2 days ago or whatever. I don't know if that's a good explanation. Alex Jones has covered that in depth. That's not my.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. And also somebody bought the book and I saw a thing. It was pretty much AI slop, I believe. So.
Yeah. Someone heard it reflect off of the metal on body armor. I was the one that initially posted. I didn't see it in that posted anywhere else. That's what I said. I give a pretty good detailed analysis. It looks like it sure looks like plates under a shirt and a vest under a shirt. And that's okay. You know, I've already apologized for this.
That's what you're saying.
What's that?
That's what you're saying. You're saying that he had plates or whatever.
Yeah. So I originally posted a video the day after this event, after watching this, looking at some of the footage, and it looked like to me that, number one, it looks like there's an impact right above here, and then it looks like it goes up. It looks in all the video footage, it sure looks like he gets hit in the chest first, and then his head goes up, and then we end up seeing an entrance wound, and that entrance wound is odd. It looks elongated, and it looks like if we had a deflected round, and because body armor on the chest, folks, is going to be angled. And then if you get to the beveled edges of that, so the body at the top of well, I got it right here. I'll show it to you guys. We'll go over it.
Well, this is super interesting for me. Definitely learning
that he was
this theory of yours.
I think that at this point, if he was wearing body armor, he was wearing something much more expensive. But no matter what, all body armor, the top portion of this to kind of conform over your chest area and over your pectoral muscles is going to be angled. So you guys can see that it is not outside the realm of possibility that we have this and then this. And then if you really look at any of these edges, and I don't care what type of body armor that you have, the edges are going to be have a steeper angle that is going to have, that's just going to be more angled. So that was my original theory. And it sure looks like all throughout the shot, and I lay all that out. It looks like you can see the bottom of some type of carrier. And again, I think that people have a misunderstanding of some of the low profile armor that is available. Also, prior to that, I did contact people that are close to Charlie that said he was wearing body armor. And then I had other people. We had a sheriff who I don't know would necessarily know, say that he wasn't wearing body armor. And then I've actually had other people that have contacted me that are close to Charlie that, again, we get another conflicting report saying he was wearing body armor. He was wearing the stealth body armor that he likes. I have no way of confirming that at the moment, and it really doesn't matter at this point. But the fact is it doesn't change a lot of the other elements of this case one way or the other. And if I was wrong, I was wrong. Candace saw the video from the camera that was right behind Charlie. There was no blood exit wound. Candace dropped a video about it today. Yep, we've talked about that. Thanks. Why are all the clips of Charlie so very blurry and yet Adam's footage is crisp? Oh wait, could be all movie production. The reason that all the footage that we're looking at is blurry, folks, is because if you take your phone and you're 50, 60 feet away and you're either recording without crop and so then you take that footage and you post it on YouTube, and then everybody crops in, it's going to pixelate, And then people will take that, they upload it again, they download it, and every time they upload it and download it and reshare it and change it and recrop, like that stuff starts getting worse and worse and worse. But even if I'm 60 feet away from Charlie and I'm zoomed way in, like that footage is not going to be very good. And he was using.
I learned this lesson. A couple years ago, streaming protests and things on my phone. At the end of the day, you got to have a real camera if you want to get real quality video. And this all operates wireless, which is what I've done in the past. But this is the first time that I was using a 4-port Ethernet switcher in my backpack, and so I was hardwired from the camera to the tablet. So everything was hardwired. There was no wireless transmission of the video from the camera to the SSD of the tablet. So that's why my video is so clear. But the stream version of it that went out live was probably my clearest stream that I've done because of the internet setup that I had going on this time as well, and because of the hardwiring of the camera system. But my recorded footage on the tablet didn't have any wireless, so that's why I got such a clear recording. The stream's poor, less high quality. It's pretty poor, but this is a really good quality because I used quality equipment. I didn't just use my cell phone like everybody else. That's why.
Ken Crow, no more questions. Thank you, fellow veteran. Thank you for your service. Being so gracious with your time. You're the best. Thank you, Ken. We appreciate it, and we definitely appreciate Adam taking out of his day to come give us his account of all this. Just putting this out here, could his necklace cross pin and bizarrely deflect the bullet? I mean, maybe. I think it is such a low possibility. If they hit the cross, definitely not the chain. I don't think that the cross itself just hasn't. I think that bullet would go right through that thing. Like if there's like 1 in a million. I think it'd probably be less than that, but I've seen a lot of small pieces of metal like that hit with, less powerful rounds with less mass, right? So, and again, this is part of the problem. This is part of the problem. We really have no idea. The bullet type that he was shooting, the bullet weight that he was shooting. Like at the end of the day, I don't even know if there's actually been any official confirmation that the gun that we see in all the footage and all the pictures is actually the gun that was recovered. That was a leaked ATF document, and I've never seen anybody confirm or deny that officially. Have you, Adam?
No.
Yeah. So there could be some things that are explained by, hey, this just wasn't a 30-06 to begin with. I mean, that is a very real possibility. Greetings from London. Just discovered your channel and joined the stream late. Do you believe the official story? Cheers, Ian, Gin Maker to Buckingham Palace. Do I believe the official story? I'm not even sure that I pay attention, and I'm going to redirect this to you, Adam, but I'm not even sure that I pay attention. I definitely didn't pay attention to the official story at all in Butler. I took this one into account because we saw it unfold in front of us. But the moment that I started looking at some of these things, like I don't even pay attention to them. I'm literally trying to be as objective as possible. I look at the footage that I'm and the other pieces of information that we have. And then I just like, okay, this is what I see. And like, here's where the evidence leads us. This is a logical conclusion given the evidence that we have in front of us. And then as evidence changes, just like when I started seeing pictures of that indicated that Charlie wasn't wearing body armor, I changed my conclusion on it, and I'm going to. If I see evidence of, a shooter off to the right, a shooter off to the left, or whatever else, I'll be happy to follow that evidence. But so far,
yeah,
none of that stuff makes sense to me. Look, I don't trust.
Yeah, to answer that question, I know the sheriff, Utah County Sheriff. I know I have met and talked to several times. I know the district attorney. I helped get him elected. I trust both of those guys more and know them more than anything that has come from any of these conspiracy theories. So to outweigh my own personal experience, we're going to have some some significant developments for me to buy into any of these other conspiracy theories. So far as it is right now, I do believe the official story. I think the simplest answer is probably the most, most logical one.
Yeah. Yeah. When we start making some of these things super complicated and we start adding people, like if you're going to create a conspiracy and you're going to create a patsy, you know, I don't know, like that guy doesn't quite fit the bill for me one way or the other. I want someone a little crazier, a little bit, or we want someone that is like a little smarter. You know, that's somebody that I know is tough.
Oh, are you saying getting a Frosty instead of getting your weapon wasn't the best move?
Probably not. Probably not. Look, there are definitely some very strange elements of this. But I do think there are people out there that are just, you're looking, this is the problem that I have, and I've talked about this before. When you come up with something and then you look for evidence of that while you're ignoring all the other evidence because you've latched onto this one thing, and now you're trying to find these other things within this photo, this video, or whatever else to prove that theory, I'm telling you, that is the incorrect way to go about this. It's not logical. It's definitely not the scientific method. But beyond that, it just doesn't make, it's just a bad way to go about doing things. And I see that. It's like, all right, I think that we have a exit wound, right? So we have an exit wound. So now I have to look for an entrance wound. Where's the entrance wound? Oh, I think it's there. Yeah, it's definitely there. Now I have to come up with all this other stuff. And then you still can't explain to me why we would have so much energy transfer directly rearward, because whatever he has that is flying directly behind him, that is clear. That is a fact. That is evidence that you can't get away from. And I don't understand how I can get hit here and things fly back here. Doesn't make sense to me. So like some of those things are just flying in the face of logic. Next question.
Yeah, I think his body would have jerked in a different way too.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just physics. Two hatches to access underground left of Charlie. The reason for paving it over: handgun, upward trajectory, no exit wound. Round remained in skull. Okay. Next question. Explain the AI chair going through the table. The AI chair going through the table. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're talking about the fact that Charlie was on a platform and that the chair was actually above the table level, there was no AI chair going above the table. There was a platform underneath. If you look at the photos, we can see that Charlie's knees are actually above the table height. Next question. Trauma PA. Can't believe that I'm
looking at the AI chair table right now. Sorry to cut you off.
No. If you find it, as a matter of fact, James, look up AI chair. If we can find that, maybe we can throw that up here.
Just go on Twitter, type in AI chair table. It's like the third post you'll come up. It's the second post down.
Got it.
It's a terrible quality video. There's a black curtain hanging along the table and a black chair. Obviously the cell phone that this was recorded on is going to, when you have black on black, it's going to, yeah, anyway, but you're welcome to pull it up. I'm not going to make too much of it.
Yeah.
Somebody said I was an AI bot, or my footage. I was an AI generated something. I don't know what it was. Yeah, never been accused of being AI before, but hey, I'll take it.
Same thing happened to me. I'm sure it's the same guy. So these two guys are AI. I'm like, you know what? Ooh. If you're accusing me of being,
you were on that. Yes, yeah, you were on
that. That's kind of a flex, right? I mean, it's kind of
there you go, right?
Trauma PA. Can't believe what we've seen. That's all right. You can play. There's a bunch of pictures of Charlie sitting in there. You can see his feet, his legs are above the table. Like this is much ado about nothing. I'll find it. I'll post it something later. Trauma PA here. Can't believe what we've seen was a direct 30-06 round. Agreed with your initial impression. Well, we'll see. There is some more information coming out regarding body armor, and we'll see if my first assessment was right or wrong. We'll see. Just watch the Thomas video, and boy, does it look like what the other dude was saying. It'll make you think. We'll check it out. I think I know what video he's referencing. Those types of things are kind of hard to do real time. Thank you both. Sometimes your reactions are priceless. Everything else is for MasterCard. What was it? A production? Too much evidence proving AI. It was blood squib. Watch like
breaking.
You know what? F all the way
breaking news
off.
right now.
Like F all the way off. Like when you're sitting there saying that Charlie Kirk has faked his death, you know what? Somebody ban him. Just ban him. This is dumb. I'm so sick of that hearing that. It's so stupid. You're dumb. You're dumb. You're banned.
The thing that gets me about all the conspiracy theories, the thing that really bugs me is that here we've got this these trans ideologues that, you know, and we may have a real life conspiracy of these guys conspiring together, posting about it on social media, doing all this stuff. The shooter, you know, what radicalized him? How did he go from this country boy, you know, growing up in rural Utah? We got all this stuff, the radicalization, you know, the how did he get here? The pathway, what's going on? What's wrong with our schools? We got these real life things, real life conspiracy, and people want to undermine that, you know, the severity of that. And we have a serious problem. We have a serious problem in our country and in this state with our school systems and with this leftist indoctrination and radicalization. And people are ignoring that and saying, "Oh, but what about the Jews? You know, what about this this plane that was in the area at this time or whatever?" And it's like, we got real problems, guys. We got a real serious problem that caused that put the events in order to, in this chain reaction to end up here with Charlie Kirk dead. You know,
I agree.
It's infuriating to me. It's infuriating, like I was saying earlier about this, all this drone stuff that's come out of my footage. You know, I can't explain it, but when I see all the theories, I can't help but think to myself, what is Erica Kirk going to think? You know, what's she thinking, seeing all these theories? I hope she's got a good sense of humor about it, like Charlie Kirk would. You know.
I'm sure she does. You know, again, we saw the exact same thing, man. The people were going bonkers with all these UAPs and everything else. That people, drones that they were finding, government
and Butler,
and then come to find out, after they continued to look for them for a couple months, they were either bugs or they were birds. And
I also don't want to disparage. I'm not trying to disparage anybody that, you know, like anybody that that's doing that work. And because I understand, I feel like people genuinely are concerned. I don't think anybody really knew how influential and how impactful Charlie Kirk was until this happened. And I think that people genuinely want to help. You know, they're genuinely concerned. So I don't want to discount that at all.
No, I think part of this is a lot of people out there are just kind of working through grief. And some of that is, you know, trying to find an explanation. And some people are going to just kind of have a tendency to go for, I don't know, some other things that may or may not have any good evidence for them. Trust me, there are definitely drones capable of a lot of things that are part of classified programs. I don't think that those would be used. I'm trying to find the reason in my mind why any entity or any government agency would use those types of classified capabilities at a public event for Charlie Kirk. Why not wait until he was alone or something like that? So anyways, there's that. Would the body armor you just displayed deflect a bullet? Again, you can go watch one of my first videos on this whole topic. I did talk about this. This is a titanium metallic plate. It will deflect the crap out of bullets. I got another plate over there that I've done a lot of testing, shooting it at angles. And specifically that, and I got some footage. I need to dig that footage up. I shot it like 4 years ago. But I showed how rounds will deflect right into, and by the way, this is a known thing in the military and law enforcement and federal agencies. They've gotten away from metallic plates. This plate right here is designed to go and basically sandwiched in between layers of Kevlar. People do wear these plates by themselves in like a plate carriers. They do. For low pro stuff. Anytime that you're trying to get a lower profile armor situation, right, where we're trying to conceal it, you're adding more risk for sure. Now, obviously, if I'm just wearing this plate in a carrier, it can actually deflect, and this has happened. Not only can it deflect this way, guys, like we've seen overseas where guys are even standing at this direction, and pull down that comment just so people can see what's going on. People are getting shot here and it deflects and hits your buddy up there, or guys are up in a turret. All right, now I'm up in a turret and I'm looking down or on top of a roof, by the way, and it hits my plate here and it bounces up into and potentially injures or kills me. So anytime, now they do make I do have some composite plates over there that they basically absorb a round, right? So the round is going to actually get encapsulated by that. They do a really good job with capturing the round, reducing spalling. Those are really good plates, but they are thicker. But they do make those same plates in that composite in a thinner plate like this. It's a super thin plate. It's super light. It will stop a round, but it doesn't have the capabilities of absorbing that round. Those rounds will deflect even with that same material that's thinner. So that's a thing, and everybody knows it. Could his necklace have been an IED projectile? No. Gary, I agree with the previous guy about the video, and there's possibly shown an exit wound trajectory. It would deserve some analysis, nothing to do with blood, but shirt dynamics, nothing conspiracy. I absolutely will. I think I know the footage that we're talking about, and I will take a look at it, and I will. I genuinely will. Is there an explanation ballistically other than plates that could explain a 30 caliber to hit soft part of the flesh without an exit wound? It's really tough to explain that. It's tough. I mean, there are some. But again, all this stuff, anytime that you get somebody on here with experience in a certain arena, right? All you're doing is playing the odds. You just have a better understanding of like what the most likely scenario is. And then you can also kind of determine what like super fringe, while possible, not likely scenarios are. And that's all we're doing, right? That's all I'm doing. You know, I do have a lot of experience, you know, with firearms. I was an 18 Bravo, was a Special Forces weapons sergeant. I was a sniper team leader. I do this for a living. I teach people. I build guns. From pistols to carbines to long guns. Like, this is what we do. And this is what I've been doing for the past 20 years.
Do you want to go back to the video there and go and move forward a little more?
Yeah.
Okay.
About 6 inches or more.
Just
literally
I just wanted to move past these guys and their descriptions, but just because we're talking about the official narrative here, so we start to work our way through, and we try to get through this side. This is where that TPUSA bros get interviewed. So then let's see, let me go back out to try and get out. But we end up, there's Phil Lyman. Let's see. So we go around to let's see, this here, because this is the alleyway between the service alley that's between the amphitheater and that building where the shooter was. So you can see up on the left here, that's the building the shooter is on. So we're going to go down here and then get kicked out. But so this building on the left, that's the shooter building. Let's see. And then there's the, let me go back here. Oh, did I skip back? Where were we? Yeah, there's a TPO. Yeah, here we go. Okay, I gotta jump back. So we're back in the service alley. And this is what I wanted to show you. So we come up the back of this building. Where's the service entrance? Okay, here it is. So we just got pushed away. We were down in front of this building that the shooter was on, and then we got told to get out of there. So we went back up we were kind of in the middle, right here. So this is between, right between where the shooter would have been and where Charlie would have been. So we're kind of like right in the middle in this area. And this building right here, you can see that's the other side of where the building where he was in that prone position.
Yeah.
So then we're going to work our way up to this official thing here. So right there, that's where the guy drops off the building in that video from the FBI. And the cops are on the route. They're searching. When we're walking up this hill right here, they actually start clearing this little shed right behind us. Right there, that shed.
Who was clearing that shed? You talking about the cops?
The cops are clearing this whole building, and so you'll see them come up here when I get up the hill. Right there, they are. So these guys are going to come and clear this shed. So you can see, like, points his gun at it. I was in motion. I was like, that was boring.
Storage shed.
See,
Something's going down here.
so I'm here. I mean, because we all knew where the shot came from this area. So, and then I just plant my camera up here and point it at the roof for a little while. You can see that dent in the ground right there. Just wait until I get my camera parked. You can see that thing where he dropped on. You can see it. So just to bolster the official narrative. So anyway, that's what I wanted to get back to just before we. So you can see there's like cops on the roof on the left. There's cops everywhere on this building because they're up there, looking for the guy. But that dark spot in the grass right next to those windows, that's where he drops down. So, and then after this, we just, I go, the camera will pan and you can see the exit the guy took. He drops off the building right there, runs across, goes into the green belt. That's where he ends up going to get his Frosty. But this is basically the end of it. There's some more to go, but it's just recording for the sake of posterity, I think.
Now, what would you say, Adam? Is there any major points that I think that you would, I don't know, that from personal experience of the events that people may not perceive from the camera footage that you would like people to know? And if there are, what would that they necessarily won't get from just watching the video?
That's a tough question. I don't know. I came on here originally just hoping that we could parse through some of the real versus the fake and kind of dispel a few myths, but it's hard to do with with a video like this and people not being on the ground. I hope my footage kind of gives people a better impression of what it was actually like on the ground there, being in the moment. So, but I just feel like it doesn't, none of the other theories make sense to me based off of my experience being there. Like the guy being in the prone position that we've been told he was in, it just seems to me like that is probably what went down. So based off my own eyewitness account and my own video footage. So and like I said, I'm glad that we were able to go through this and see the people pointing and pointing in the direction of the shot and describing what they heard and saw, because in the moment nobody was saying that it came from over there or came from there's a lot of people that have taken my video and saying, oh, look at this, or let me analyze that, and based off of this it came from over there. But the people that were there that experienced it alongside of us, everybody knew where that shot came from. Based instinctually, we all heard it, even though there was echoing, depending on where you were at, you still had an idea, and you still knew the direction that it had come from. And if you haven't been in that situation before, like I was equating it to elk hunting, if you haven't been there, you're not going to be able to understand. So, but in my view, the most logical explanation is that Tyler Robinson took advantage of the lack of security. And, all it takes is one guy. These grand conspiracies. It's not in real life. It's so hard to keep that stuff secret. Look at this. We have these examples of his buddies that we think could be his people that are part of his same little inner circle posting stuff. We have these posts on social media in advance. A Spotify song linked to the to his boyfriend. The reality is that it would be impossible to keep a big conspiracy secret if these few weirdos couldn't. If these guys couldn't keep it secret, you think that even more people could? I just don't see it happening. So,
yeah.
Somebody said audio, Adam. Can't hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, your audio was cutting out a little, and I couldn't tell if it was just mine but your audio was cutting out just a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Oh, good.
I think it was
anyway. That's just that's my my take. Take it for what it is. As an eyewitness, I see someone on here distraction like that. Yeah, take my account for what it is as an eyewitness distraction. No, take my account for what it is. I was an eyewitness. I was there. Unfortunately, I wish I would. I wish I hadn't taken my kid there, but I wish circumstances would have been different. But I'm glad I was able to, document this moment in time. But I'm not happy about it, So
yeah. No, there was something I was going to ask you, but I forgot. I'll think of it in a second. Throw the last
distract. They keep saying it. Like, come on. No, nobody's paying me, guys. I'm not monetized. And actually, on that note, I just qualified as a result of this for YouTube partner program. And to me, like I've never really pushed for that qualification. I just film things when I feel like it, and that's real tough for me to think that as a result of this tragedy, that sucks for me, man. I mean, it doesn't suck for me. It sucks for Charlie now, but for me, it's been weighing heavily on me, thinking that, and I haven't clicked the apply thing. I just got the notification the other day, but I'm like, that sucks to qualify for that based off of this, that freaking sucks in my opinion. So, nobody's paying me. I haven't been paid a dime for this. Nobody, I don't have a buy me a coffee or that kind of thing listed on my profiles. So, people that are saying that, whatever, I'm a Israeli conspiracy or whatever it is, freaking screw you, man. Because I was out there filming because I feel like it's important. So,
yeah. No, I mean that like when you're out, look, this is the thing. It's like when you're out there and you're trying to get as much information and analyze it as objectively as possible. And then people, man, I love this country. I love this country more than anything. Again, 9/11 happened a couple of days later. I was at the recruiting station and I'm a little
for your service, man.
Well, that's not what it's about. My point is that, number one, I love this country. I wanted to go fight for this country, and I am pissed. I am pissed that we were lied about 9/11. There's so much of without a doubt, that narrative was a lie. And there's many other aspects of the fact that I know not to trust the government. And I want to be able to make sure that we, so when I'm bringing this information, it's not about money. And by the way, I don't want to get into personal things, but let me tell you something, folks. I have lost a lot of money because of what we do here. And I doubt I'll ever recover it. Like, this is not what this channel is about. We cover the stuff that I want to cover. Yeah. And most of 80% of our videos, including most of these videos that we've done, have been demonetized. So I don't even want to hear about it. I'm wondering why the cops have persuaded the man taking down a cam, and I'd bet a lot of money that the cam shows a muzzle flash or not from the roof. I doubt it would show a muzzle flash. Again, folks, like, you rarely see muzzle flashes in the day. There has to be some really unique circumstances, but from a 30-30 or a 308 or even 5.56, I would not expect to see muzzle flashes unless some other certain condition in broad daylight, unless some other certain conditions were met. The problem with social media influencers put out info to piss us off and don't even agree with anything the other party says. Sure. What are
so
your
many
thoughts?
influencers? My Twitter video got over 6 million views. There are countless influencers that I found that have just, and like I said earlier, I considered watermarking it, considered doing that kind of stuff, and I just decided it was part of the historical record and uploaded the raw footage. But people have taken my influencers, have taken my footage and gotten tens of millions of views and countless amounts of, monetization off of this thing. And it is frustrating to have that, to have people that don't give a crap about. I don't think a lot of these people care really about anything that happened. They just care about the clicks, and I think that is one of the worst parts.
Well, and the other thing that's frustrating is, again, when you're trying to bring real information to people and then people are accusing you of being some sort of government agent or whatever I don't even understand, because most of the time what people are saying is not even a coherent argument. It's like, okay, I presented this to you. This is what I think the evidence is. Nope, I don't like that. It doesn't fit this thing that I'm saying. So I'm going to say that you're a government agent. I'm going to say that you're a government agent. And, same thing. I did this, with Butler. I was very upset about Butler. So what I ended up doing was covering a lot of things with Butler. And then I spent my own money, and a friend of mine that it has a GPS survey drone. We went out because nobody knew what the measurements and, the terrain actually was going on. And a lot of that, the discrepancy of distances, that people were coming up with all kinds of wazoo stuff that I just knew wasn't true. So what did I do? Not the government, not you guys out there talking shit. Gary Melton, his own time, his own money. We went out there and did a 3D survey drone project. And then we presented that for free. Like, I lost my ass when it comes to the coverage of Butler. So I don't even want to, whatever. It's not about the money. I couldn't care less. Next one. Oh, what are your thoughts on laying concrete over the crime?
I do it because I like geeking out on all this with all my tech stuff. So
yeah, some of that's fun. I didn't know anything about video or any audio or anything else when I got into this. I hated the prospect.
Either. I just tinker.
Yeah, and then now I'm kind of a video audio nerd to some extent. I appreciate the stuff. Next one. We kind of covered that. How much velocity loss could be from a ricochet? I mean, it depends. It depends on what it hits, what angle it hits, what's the a heavier round is going to retain more velocity. I mean, there's 1,000 variables. It could go from, lose almost no velocity to 90% of the velocity. It just depends.
You got a lot of good questions from your viewers. You got some intelligent people watching.
They are. Yeah, even the haters, some of them are pretty smart. And I love you guys. I love haters.
A lot smarter questions than I can think of. I can tell you that.
What are we looking at from a composite armor? If it absorbs it, broken ribs, when knocked out, or could it have been just as catastrophic? I wouldn't say it's a composite or non-composite armor question. I would say, again, there's if it was there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Like, again, I got multiple plate carriers over there, and those plate carriers are different in themselves. Some of those are low profile plate carriers where basically it's literally just a plate carrier. And then we have armor systems that have a lot of different, Kevlar padding and Kevlar layers in there that's going to reduce spalling, all of those things, right? So it just depends. It really depends on the weight and how robust that plate is, regardless of how much it has the ability to stop that round, right? So how much energy can it absorb? So a heavier plate is going to absorb and dissipate more energy. A lighter, I guess look at it like this. There's different we obviously have soft armor versus hard armor, and there's literally kind of a spectrum in between. If you are hit with let's say you have soft Kevlar armor, and there's other composites, by the way, not just Kevlar, there's Aramid, there's a bunch of other things, lots of new developments in armor technology, in whether it's soft or hard plates, right? If we have a large enough caliber round, or enough, we'll just say energy, regardless of, and all that stuff. If we have enough energy, it may stop that round, but it could still do enough damage to kill you or injure you severely, right? It could hit you somewhere where it ruptures your liver or a spleen, and all these things can and do happen. If we're talking about something a little bit more robust, that is, and really it's also about surface area too. So if it's able to dissipate more of that over a large surface area, your survivability rate goes up. But then you also have deflection, spalling, all those things can be lethal too. So anytime you put, the majority of soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen that were killed in some sort of firefight overseas, they had body armor on, so it's not foolproof, right? And there's lots of vulnerabilities to that. That's on Ted Lieu and Cash saying the thoughts on Ted Lieu and Cash saying the Epstein estate is under no obligation to release anything, even with a subpoena. The Senate was like, what the hell? You're freaking the FBI should get a lawyer. I haven't heard that. Guys, I've said this on this program multiple times. I've been extremely disappointed in the Cash Patel FBI. I'll have to research that. I'm not up on that. I've been completely engrossed in hours and hours of watching some of the same footage, different versions of the same footage in this, for better or for worse. It's definitely not been healthy. Send you a message on X on your plate theory. Hard to articulate in short form here. The plate may have absorbed, shed through energy to explain the lack of exit wound and damage visible. Maybe. Yeah. All these things. The camera was high, back at tent. Hard to believe it was filming much else besides people at the microphones talking to Charlie. I have a hard time believing that camera could see Charlie in its field of view at all. And as a matter of fact, if you look at all the other, there may be some exceptions to this depending on where Charlie was sitting in relation to the camera. If you look at all his other kind of campus visits, when they have their camera showing the person asking questions, you don't see Charlie. It's zoomed in, and it's very tight. And they would have to have a wide angle view, but then everything would look much further, and then they would have to crop in and post to find to actually show or isolate the person asking the question, and that would make a really poor image. So I have a hard time believing he was in the field of view of that at all. Next question. Thank you, A Peach Life. Let's do this. Let's do like 10 minutes. We'll go through the live chats real quick. We're out of super chats. Let's go through the live chat real quick. Answer a few of these questions, and we'll go from there. Good, bad, or ugly. I'll throw it up there. James, it's your choice. Whatever you want.
I saw couple people asking if my video is available to watch. Yes, it is. You can find it on my YouTube channel or on my Twitter account. It's at Life is Driving. Life is Driving, like driving a car. So it's all one word, or you can search my name. It's pretty distinct, Adam Bartholomew. So you can find it there. It's definitely watchable. Download it if you want.
Let's see.
I'll actually put that up there.
See a lot of comments. Dude is right there. Zeb Barnes. Throw that one up there. The dude is saying that his earpiece wire was a bulletproof vest, which it wasn't. The guy's supposed to be in the Army. He would know that he wasn't wear a bulletproof vest. All right, Zeb. First of all, nobody could tell what was under that vest. So just stop. And number two, most of you guys think of what they think a bulletproof vest looks like is not what most people wear in the Army. When you get into more high-tech technologies that are low profile for executive protection details and things like that, I think you'd be surprised at what's actually available. And I don't care who you are. Objectively speaking, during that shot sequence, if you go watch my video, it looks like there's a vest under there. I am okay conceding that there wasn't a vest under there. I don't think that is an earpiece. I also, well, there's some other strange things going on there to what exactly that. So we have a magnetic mic clip, and it normally goes to a Rode wireless.
Is that what was on his here, like on his lapel area? Yeah. I thought I saw him click something at the start of his thing, like maybe he records everything he says.
So that's just literally, if it is what I think it is, and I have what I think is the exact one, it's literally just a magnet that you put your mic underneath your shirt and you put the magnet here, and you know, that's what it is. The fact is that there's still a lot of speculation of what's going on there, and we don't have a full story. And I'm willing to admit that I don't know 100%. And anybody that is saying, no, it's definitively this, or it's definitively earpieces, or it's definitively this or that. Like, first of all, I don't think he had earpieces. All right. I don't think that was in-ear monitors. Like, you can't, no one has shown me a picture of him. And there's plenty of pictures prior to, like, very close up, that you can definitely tell he's not, when he's throwing hats, there's different pictures, different video. He does not have in-ear monitors. I think what we see flying behind him is his necklace. So, you know, you guys can sit there and pretend that you know everything. That's fine. And again, as soon as I had information or evidence that went against what I initially put out, I came on a live stream and I said it immediately. Hey, I think I'm wrong. And I'm okay with that. And I'm going to do that every single time. You can check my track record with Butler. Okay. I was right. There was a lot of people putting out a lot of nonsense. I proved them wrong. And as soon as they got proven wrong, they moved to another set of nonsense, and never like, oh yeah, we retract that. Our bad. Gary was right. No, they're still trashing me, calling me a government operative because they're in the freaking, because, well, they're in this for the money, and they're in it for clicks, and you can go check out their Patreon and all the other stuff. So there's that. Next one.
Are we just looking at regular comments now?
Yep.
There are no more.
If you see one, okay. if you see something, we talked to them. Canada, someone shared today on our live that she has seen the video from the cam behind her. Yeah, we covered that. Yeah, I question that. Over a week, a lot of new stuff. I still get hung up on the round 2 + 2 don't equal 5. Thank you for what you're doing. I agree. And by the way, folks, if you haven't seen it, Megyn Kelly, this is really strange to me. She was hosting the Charlie Kirk show. It was yesterday morning, and she's talking to Mike. Trying to think of his last name. It's Charlie Kirk's chief of staff, and they're talking about security and how security threats have picked up. And she's like, I didn't realize it had gotten to the point where he was wearing body armor. Now, Mike never corrects her, which I thought was really strange. And of course, that doesn't mean that he was wearing body armor. She could have been saying in general, there's lots of accounts saying that he was wearing body armor. I have people contacting me very close to Charlie when I first put that initial video out, and they said, Gary, you're right. He does wear body armor everywhere. And then come to find out, other information came out, and it looks like that could be wrong and is most likely wrong, and that's fine. But we're getting other information out. But I do think it's really strange that that wasn't clarified in front of his chief of staff. And I think it's weird. So take that for what it is.
Well, you know what? If you don't put yourself out there, you'll never be wrong. So
yeah, it's easy to sit back.
Charlie Kirk wasn't afraid to stand up and be wrong. So I think we should all.
And you know what? It's easy to sit back there and you guys is in the safety and come up with all these theories with zero evidence and never get in front of a camera and talk about any of this stuff. That doesn't take courage. And you want to critique me, that's fine. I got thick skin. You're not going to bother me.
Look at this guy right here, Vlad. We just pissed you. Vlad the Kibbe. July 13th. How does Epstein impact your life in response to criticism about Trump refusing to release the files? Shill. I was in response to that. I think I was talking to somebody else who was pissing and moaning about the Epstein files. And personally, I'm tired of hearing about that crap. Like, most of the people involved were, older, whatever. They were kids. People make their decisions. I'm more pissed, as Gavin McInnes said. If you got some 15-year-old girl or whatever that happened to get recruited for modeling and then ends up on a flight to Epstein Island, I'm a little more pissed off at her dad. Like, where's the parent in that situation? That's what I want to know. So as far as this Epstein thing, I'm tired of hearing about it. I don't give a crap about it. It has no bearing on my life. And to call me a shill for not giving a shit about something that has nothing to do with me, I'm sorry. I've got a lot bigger problems going on here in Utah. And in case you didn't notice, we got some serious problems. So that's why I'm saying, how does the Epstein files impact your life? How? Explain to me how, please, Vlad, explain to me how it impacts your life, because you don't have an explanation for that. So it's more like, murder porn for lonely housewives. It's stuff. It's guys care. They're more invested. They're true. It's more like these true crime people that are just they are so obsessed with this true crime stuff. The salacious details of I don't want to hear about that crap. And I think we got bigger fish to fry, personally. So
yeah, I mean, I'll disagree with you just a little bit. I want people held accountable. I want people held accountable. I think that
I'm all for accountability. I'm not saying I don't want people held accountable. I'm just saying I'm tired of hearing about it.
I hear you. It does seem like it's a can that's being kicked down the road by both sides just to kick a can. And I would like to see, and I expected to see some real, we were all expecting to see some information coming out with Kash Patel at the helm, Dan Bongino. Trump talked about it. It is a campaign promise that I think we should hold him accountable for.
Was it though?
Yeah, it was. He's like, you're gonna find out.
I've seen a couple clips where somebody asked him about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess so."
Well, that, and he talked about specifically about the information coming out with JFK. He talked about, what was the other?
I agree with.
There was another,
and I'm not opposed to saying, "Hey, yeah, I get it." I want to have answers on the JFK stuff, just like people want to hear about the Epstein stuff. I get it. You know? But I also think that we've got a very limited window to get real things accomplished, and I just question whether or not that's really worth my time or our time.
It has turned into a political football. That is part of the problem.
I feel like a lot of people didn't give a crap about it until it became a gotcha for Trump. So that's one of the reasons that I'm just like, come on, seriously, like we got so many issues.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. Former protective services here, people are overlooking that you only had 6 LEO at the event, not conspiracy theory, but that's small, and they would have owned roof coverage. All right. Given that type of event at a college, I don't think that, I bet almost every college that Charlie Kirk had been to, and I've been involved with a lot of protective work as well, training and security assessments and a lot of different things with that. And I'll tell you right now, I think that most of the events that Charlie had went to, he would have not had coverage on the roof, and his personal security detail was responsible for his perimeter. That's all they have the capabilities of doing. I think that will change. I think going forward, we're going to see a lot more changing it with that, but it is what it is. We're not talking about a government agent. We're not talking about a president, a diplomat. We're talking about basically a public figure, and a lot of these public figures don't have like some crazy security detail. And quite frankly, most public figures don't put themselves in harm's way the way that Charlie did and put himself in the public. So that in of itself is unique. Epstein was about holding people accountable. I agree, and I do want to see that. Let's hit this last one. Could the bullet strike the necklace and deflect into the neck? Would that explain the abnormal entrance wound and the lack of I just don't think so. I think it's no, I really don't. Whatever that metal was, I'm sure it's silver, maybe even gold or white gold or something like that. Regardless, it's not something that's going to be very hard, and it's not something that's going to be able to deflect a 30 caliber round of just about any bullet weight size. Well, listen, original chest shot, no armor, survival. Yeah, if he had no armor, he wouldn't have survived either. I don't think it mattered whether he had armor or not. All right, folks. Well, listen, we really appreciate you tuning in. And most importantly, Adam, I really appreciate you taking the time, coming on, walking us through the events as you saw them. Hopefully, it will bring some clarity to some people. You guys take what he said, at face value, and understand that this was a guy just out there trying to get coverage, and doing some good work, and obviously provided what we have is, I think, the clearest video and audio footage without a doubt. So I really do appreciate your efforts, Adam, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I think it's an important thing to talk about. So I appreciate your time.
All right, folks. Well, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night, and have a wonderful weekend. And until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.